Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This is our Manchester United versus Real Madrid watch along. If you're here for the match reaction, the link is in the video description at the top. You can get the match reaction there. If you're watching in the now, I'm not Marty McFly. I don't own the DeLorean. I can't go back in time, so I can't tell you what the score is in this game at the moment because we are live. The team news is out. And I just want to say as well, a massive thanks to the Draughty Devil for this 250,000 subscriber special studio that he's set up for us. It is sweet as a nut, isn't it? It's absolutely fantastic. Smash that like button. It's looking good. And I think the team looks pretty good, as Cohen says. We are a little bit early because Manchester United are have put the team news out a little bit early. So, yeah, the team news is there. It's on my right, as you can see. De Gea in goal. We think we're going to be playing a 4-3-3. So, De Gea in goal, Darmian right back, Fosu Mensah and Bailly centre-backs, and Luke Shaw left back. It's quite a good back four apart from Darmian. The midfield three, we think it will be Herrera holding the midfield with Fred to his right and McTominay to his left. There seems to be a crap player in each area. Darmian on the right back position, McTominay in the midfield. And then, I mean, it's a bit of a shame for Pereira, actually, because I think Pereira has been playing so well as a CDM. He may well play CDM in this game, to be fair, but I think he's going to play on one of the flanks with Mata, with Sanchez there. I mean, there is an element of disappointment because I actually think that we should be playing 3-5-2. I really do. I think the 4-3-3 is the Mourinho formation. It's where we are lazy and don't press the ball. It's where we don't move the ball quickly from back to front. And I think it's his fail-safe formation to play static, slow football. But hopefully he's going to prove me wrong tonight. And hopefully we will see a very different Manchester United because I think we need to. With regards to Real Madrid team news, I don't think the Real Madrid team news is out yet. But I can certainly have a look for you. Real Madrid. Let's have a look. Oh no, they've got it. They've got it out. Casilla in goal, Valello, Benzema, Bale, Theo, Llorente, Odriozola, Ceballos, Vinicius, Sanchez and Valverde. So Benzema and Bale, pretty much their better players. They've probably got I don't know. I presume Toni Kroos is part of that squad, but obviously not picked, so there you go. Good morning all, says Mark Dixon, and just the formation, Madrid, Liverpool, City play, says Robert McCormack. Martial has come back for the Bayern game, says Anthony Martial. He's not come back from anywhere because the Bayern Munich game is in Germany, so he's not coming back from anywhere. Nice graphics, says Brody Hanley. They are fantastic graphics, and I've got a shout out to Draughty for doing it. I especially like the little team news pitch that we've got there, so you can see the players and how we're lined up. And obviously the latest transfer news on the right. Unfortunately, it hasn't moved at all since we started doing the US tour. It's funny, isn't it? I said this, and I always get... I nearly said I always get it right. I always get a bit of stick because I said before we went on the US tour, we won't sign anyone on the US tour. We never sign anyone when we're on tour. And we haven't signed anyone while we've been on tour. So, I don't know what it is. You can sort of write off when we're on tour that we're going to sign anybody. I don't really understand why that happens. But it does seem to happen quite a lot. So, there we go. Remember, you can subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. We went past 250,000 subscribers tonight. That is 250,000 subscribers to the United Stand. It is amazing what this channel is doing. So, thank you everyone who's getting involved. You are absolutely bloody fantastic. And, you know, we go from strength to strength, don't we? The game is a 1:05 kickoff, so it's in an hour's time. Why do I support Jose Mourinho, says Nabil. Somebody tell him in the live comments. I've said it so many times. Gerard's been here since 15,000 subscribers. Thanks, Gerard. Morning, Mark. Morning, everyone. Let's hope for a positive game regardless of the score, says Jamie Best. I don't like it that people are saying morning. I've got to be absolutely honest with you and say, I don't like it that you're saying morning because I haven't even been to bed yet. I've been up since yesterday morning. And, yeah, it's oh, what have I done? I've clicked on something I didn't want to click. That's what she said. But no, I think the team news is okay. I mean, the things that I'm really looking forward to in this game is obviously looking at Fred. I had hopes that Andres Pereira was going to be playing the CDM role again, because surely you'd want him to play there considering Matic has had an operation. I get concerned about Scott McTominay and the more games that he seems to be getting, and the less talk about... there doesn't seem to be a lot of talk about Scott McTominay going off on loan, and I'd love to hear that. I really would love to hear a little bit more chat about Scott McTominay going off on loan, because I think that's very, very important. But not to be at the moment. And, you know, whatever with that. It's 2 a.m, Mark, says Victor. Yeah, it is 2 a.m. It's 5 past midnight as well here, so that means it's the morning too. Got a good feeling about this one. Come on, you Red, says Brody Hanley. Well, let's not forget that Real Madrid, this is their very first pre-season game, and on top of that, they are not at full strength either. So it's funny how I'm just looking at how MUTV have got it lined up, and it is slightly different to the way we've done it. It's more of a Herrera, McTominay, Pereira midfield with Fred, Alexi and Mata. So what I might do, because I can do this, is while you're chatting away, I'll change it to what they've done. So Pereira there. Herrera there. But no, I'm confident that United are going to get something tonight. And I'm also really confident that Jose Mourinho is going to come out after the game and be a lot more positive. We're hoping that he'll speak before the game as well. And if he does, I'll just grab my headphones and I'll listen. I'll tell you what he says. But yeah, I'm hoping that he is going to play, that we will have a better performance tonight, because Real Madrid have not got their best team out, and also because Real Madrid are... I've just changed the team for you now. The things I do for you when I'm live as well, you know, it's got to be worth a like, hasn't it? There we go. So I think that's more or less... It's a little bit big, that. That's what she said. The jokes are coming out tonight. I need to go big. Yeah, Real Madrid have got, obviously, are just coming back from their... That's not the one. That isn't the one, that's why. You bloody idiot. That one. I want that one! So this is how we think we're lining up. So Pereira is holding the midfield, which is a positive. You've got Pereira holding the midfield. You've got McTominay and Herrera ahead of him, with Fred and Mata, and then Sanchez up front. So I think that's how it's going to go. G. McLeod, I saw that as well. DiMarzio saying that Modric is going to Inter Milan. You know, Serie A think it's bloody 1991. It's Jose. Shut up, Goldbridge. Listen to Jose. We do what we can do. The boys have given everything. It looks a little bit less negative. Talks about tiredness, pride, professionalism. He says we've got to try and help the young boys, but what young boys have we got playing? Darmian's not young, Shaw's not young, Bay's not young, Herrera's not young. Pereira and McTominay are 22. Fosu Mensah's 20. It's not even a young team. He's on about youngsters. He says that the positive feelings will come if we beat Leicester in the first Premier League match. I sort of agree with that. Apparently Real Madrid have got almost their team here, but they haven't put most of it out. Tracy Jordan says, we're getting smacked by Madrid. Jose out. De Gea back in goal, obviously. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making some serious shit. Paul Robinson says Jose is making Yeah, he didn't really say much. Again, it was a slightly more positive from Jose Mourinho, if I'm totally honest with you. But he's talking about looking after the youngsters and stuff like that. But as far as I'm concerned, we're not playing any bloody youngsters because McTominay is his player of the year from last year. So I'm sorry, you're not having him as a youngster. Pereira's been on loan in La Liga for 2 years. He's not a youngster. Fosu Mensah was at Crystal Palace last year, not really a youngster, so I don't know what he's on about. We've got to look after the youngsters. He's hardly bloody played the youngsters. Let's be honest. Let's be honest about it. He's hardly played the youngsters, so I don't know what he's on about there. But he can't wait to get out of America and get back to Manchester. It's obvious about that one. Evening Mad Marcus, says Victor Simonov. Fred's playing left wing, says Calamity Jones. He's not really playing left wing, I wouldn't say. What I would say he is doing is, if you look at... If I can do this. What have I done? What have I done, lads? No, I don't want to do that. Where's my yellow pen? Great. He's playing more centrally with Mata sort of in there. We're sort of playing a 4-3-3 really. A 4-2-3, a 4-3-2-1. Basically, Mata and Fred are behind Sanchez with the midfield three of Pereira, McTominay and Herrera, which is what we've played bloody every game, isn't it? So there we go. Congratulations on 250,000 subscribers, says Kieran Kennedy. Yes, it's great to see that number in the bottom right hand corner. And remember, if you are new to the United Stand, please do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. We're live every night at 8 o'clock. We've got Transfer Daily, all sorts going on. Although we're not having a Transfer Daily tomorrow. There's no bloody point. By the time we finish here, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Do a match reaction. We'll put something up for you at lunchtime tomorrow. And to be honest with you, Transfer Daily, I can tell you now, there is sod all to report because we covered most of it at 8 o'clock and we spoke about Yerry Mina. Pereira might be going on loan and that's about it. There is no news around Manchester United at the moment. I tell you what, we've done Transfer Daily virtually every single day since the start of May because we started 2 weeks before the transfer window opened. And I have never struggled to talk about at least 5 or 6 stories a day. There's always stories. It's hilarious in a sadistically horrible way that we are nearly a week away from the end of this transfer window. I would say we need to sign 3 players and there is sod all transfer news about. It is ridiculous. You know what? If it wasn't terrible, I'd laugh. Part of the bus again, says NTWE Warrior. Well, you know, he always does that. Matter on the right, laugh my arse off, says Grim Fandango. Why are you laughing? He always plays on the right. That's pretty much where he always plays. Travis, my views on Pulisic is that we won't sign him. That is as simple as that. And Carl Fulham says best United YouTuber. I don't know whether that's a rhetorical question or he's talking about me, but the reality is I'm not a YouTuber. The United Stand is a channel I work on, and the United Stand is your channel. It's the fans' channel. For people who've been here since 100 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers, 30,000 subscribers, you will know I've always said this. It is your channel. It really is. We've always done the live comments. We've always been interactive and we've always said it how it is. And that's all we've ever wanted to do. So massive thank you to all of you lot. And yeah, not excited about Shaw, to be honest, says Jimmo. Yeah, I'm not really excited about Luke Shaw, to be honest. I'd get rid of him. I want Sandro. I'm being petulant. I'm not excited about him. I'm not excited about Darmian. And I'm not excited about McTominay, but I have been wrong about things in the past. But I also think that, you know, you've got to have an opinion, haven't you? You've got to have an opinion. And, you know, tell me a football fan who says that they love every single player that's played for their club, and I'll call them a liar. You know, you've got to have an opinion about things. And my opinion is that if I don't like a player, I'll tell you. And I don't like Scott McTominay, and I don't like Darmian. I don't see what they offer us, to be honest. But I'm encouraged that Fosu Mensah's playing. I think that's important. I think Fosu Mensah has done okay on this US tour. I think Andreas Pereira has done bloody fantastic on this tour. And no matter what happens tonight, he has to come out of it with massive a massive amount of praise because he's been bloody fantastic. Other than that, what will this US tour be remembered for? Brilliant graphics from the United Stand, 250,000 subscribers, brilliant banter and chat amongst the live comments. I'm not actually joking, but seriously, that's probably what I take from it. I've got Mad Marcus joining me for a little bit. How you doing, pal?
Hiya, mate. You're right.
I'm good. Yeah, you sound very enthusiastic. Have you been up to something since I last spoke to you?
I'm very enthusiastic because it's nothing to do with the football, right? I'm actually on my Xbox.
All right.
And apparently Xbox has got Skype on there, which I think is pretty cool.
There you go.
So, hang on. Let me quit my game a minute, mate. Hang on. Sorry. Right. Yeah. I'm ready. So, morning to everyone.
Yeah, he's saying morning as well, which I don't like because I think you shouldn't say morning when you've not been to bed. But
no.
Yeah, I mean, I take it you've seen the team news. What are your thoughts on it?
I have. Do you know what? I'm very excited about seeing Fred in there starting. Darmian again at right back. I mean, I suppose there's no one else really is there to cover, but Luke Shaw getting another chance, which is really good. But yeah, I mean, Fred, Pereira. Bit bummed about Herrera not starting though. I mean, McTominay seems to have took his place, but it's really good, really positive team, I think.
Herrera is starting.
Yeah, I know. Oh, is he? I thought it was McTominay.
Yeah, so basically, I think it's thrown a few people. So it looks like what we're doing is we've got Pereira holding the midfield with Herrera and McTominay ahead of him, and then Fred playing more advanced with Mata behind Sanchez.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah,
that's quite adventurous, though.
Yeah, well, or it's a 4-5-1. I don't know. I don't know whether Jose Mourinho and adventurous go in the same sentence, but he's certainly got. He certainly has got that midfield. There's a lot of midfielders playing in there, but
Well, for the team that's out there, for the players, and the quality that is out there at the minute, and what he's got to deal with, I think that's pretty much as good as he could get, I think, for me. You could argue Fosu Mensah comes out and Smalling, if he wasn't injured, goes in. But I think for what's out there at the minute, that's a pretty good looking lineup, especially that front five. Well, we add Pereira into there. I think Fred, if he's out on the left, I'm not sure about that. But Sanchez, he's had a good game against AC Milan. Wasn't really up to his usual standard against Liverpool, but a good chance to redeem himself, I suppose, on the pre-season.
Scraps, wasn't he, really?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, for the team that's out there, mate, for the quality Mourinho's got to deal with out there, that's not bad. I'm pretty excited by that one.
What we're going to do then for the next sort of 20 minutes or so is going to take a lot of your questions. It was meant to be a Skype show, but there's just no way it's going to run. I've been trying this before, and although I've got Marcus on Skype, I just know it's not going to hold up when everyone starts Skyping in. Basically, what's happening is we get so many people Skyping in now, it just, literally hundreds, that it just absolutely blasts the system. So that's why we're getting problems with it. So we're moving to Discord, which is going to take a couple of weeks to set up, but that's what's going to happen. So what I'm going to do for the next 20 minutes is just take loads of your questions. Me and Marcus will answer them. So Schubeck says, do you think Mourinho could play Fred as a winger? He has got a wand of a left foot. I think it'd be a total waste of time. I'm not even going to throw that at Marcus because it'd be unfair. Because he doesn't know anything about Fred, which, to be honest, I don't think anybody knows a lot about Fred. To be honest, I've only seen him about 5 times, but from the research I've done about him, why sign a midfielder and put him on the left wing? So no, I wouldn't agree with that. What else have we got? Such a lack of balance to the lineup, says Andrew Thompson, which I suppose is probably, Marcus, why you said Herrera wasn't playing, because I assumed you thought it was Fred, McTominay and Pereira.
That's right.
I mean, I even thought I've had to redo the team lineup on my right because I thought it was going to be Herrera, Fred and McTominay and Pereira playing on one of the wings because Pereira can play on the wing, but apparently it's not. Pereira's still playing as a CDM, which I think is good. I want him to play in that position because I want him to start the season in that position. But Fred probably play. I mean, to be honest, McTominay, maybe he's just picking him because there's nobody else, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what Fred's all about because, to be honest, against Liverpool, that 10-minute cameo we saw, he looked like a player who'd just come off the beach. So hopefully a few more days and we'll see a different side of him.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, like you said there, I mean, to me, just the 10, 12 minutes that he got, he looked lost to me, like a lost sheep. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on over on the left hand side. It's a shame that he's out there on the left hand side. I think he's. Would I be right in saying that I've seen him? He's more of like an attacking midfielder. He's not a winger.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a bit disappointing. He's out there. I mean, he could have dropped McTominay and put Fred there and played Tahith Chong out there on the left hand side. But it's all trial and error in it at the minute. But yeah, it should be a good game. I'm really looking forward to this. Do you know the Madrid team?
Yeah, we do. I mean, to be honest with you, there's only really regular players, Bale and Ronaldo, but I imagine they'll pick a lot of their players in the second half, which again is going to be another problem for United because I don't think Jose Mourinho wants to chuck all his kids on the pitch. So I think we'll see the likes of Herrera and everyone else playing ridiculous amounts of minutes again, probably playing against two teams. So we'll do well to get a result today. Andrew Rossi says, please let Shaw score 5 goals. Can't do another season with Ashley Young at left back. Yeah, a hat-trick from Luke Shaw to bench Ashley. I don't even think that would be enough to get Ashley Young benched, to be honest. Jake Ferry says, I hope Real Madrid will win. And McTominay is better than Herrera, says nobody except Archie. He played as a CM and a CDM for his former side. What you want about, says Mohammed Hassan. I don't think anyone's denying that, to be honest. Boring McTominay, says Vince Chapman. Darmian again, nice, says Lamia Syed. Yeah. Jose will always, he's like a magnet to the 30-year-olds. He's as closer you are to 30, the more chance you've got of coming into his team. Do you think people will underestimate Sarri and Emery? I don't care, Ratin. They don't manage my club. We've got our own problems, with all due respect. Ronaldo isn't playing. I think Connor Spence is joking, but somebody's bitten. He says, "Where's Ronaldo?" And then someone else is saying Ronaldo's left. How do we shut the Glazers down? Says, I could give you lots of ideas, but I don't think anyone would fancy doing it. Mark, what is your prediction? Okay, well, we'll do a prediction. What's your prediction, Marcus, for this score in this game? I know it's ridiculously hard to pick, but
I think after the grilling the players got after the Liverpool game, I don't. Do you know what? I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to say it's going to be a draw. I just think those players tonight, after what Mourinho's probably had words with all of them after the Liverpool game and really gone to town on them, I would fancy that this team is just going to go out there, play safe, and just try and get a positive result no matter what. So I'm going to play safe, and I'm going to say it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to go 3-1 Real Madrid, because I think because they'll bring a whole new team on in the second half, and if Jose doesn't make the changes, then that's going to be the end of that, isn't it? You know, on your MUTV, have you got Countdown to Encryption?
Yes, I have. Yeah, because it goes off at 1:45, and then the new, basically the new stream, then it comes up on the TV.
All right, okay.
Because it's like, the first half hour is it's a free to view thing. Yeah.
Okay.
You're safe, mate.
Mohamed Tajwa has gone a little bit very, very precise. Sorry, he says 5-3 on penalties. Sanchez best position. When will he play well this season and show his form when he plays from when he played for Arsenal? Says Ben Patterson. So I think that's a good question, actually. I mean, Sanchez is playing out of position because we haven't got any other strikers. But I was asked on the show earlier what I thought Rashford's involvement would be, and I can't see anything other than the bench. But Sanchez, do you think he's going to be still out on that left wing next season?
I would hope so. Yeah. A lot of people have been calling for Sanchez to play as the number 10 and Martial to go out on the left, but it seems like the writing's on the wall now for Martial. I would think now going forward that, Sanchez, I think he that's his position. That was his position at Arsenal. I think that's his position that he wants at United as well. But the only trouble is he often roams quite freely and gets in other people's ways. So Mourinho is going to have to sort that out pretty quick. Hopefully, it works, but I'm not too sure. But definitely Sanchez on the left wing for me.
There's a comment in here that Dan Affle has said McTominay is on the left wing. I think what we're probably seeing is numerous interpretations of the formation and the team that we're playing, because effectively, if you look at the lineup to my right, we have got Pereira, Herrera, McTominay and Fred, who are all midfielders, but you can't play 4 midfielders. So we've gone with what MUTV said, which is Pereira, Herrera, McTominay and Fred playing more advanced with Mata. Maybe McTominay is playing at... to be honest with you, I don't know why no one's predicted this. Why we're probably playing Fred as a left-back in a back 5. So, he is a newer signing and an attacking player, so we're probably playing him as a left-back, or maybe even the centre-back. I'm joking. Sanchez on the freaking right wing, please, says Calamity Jones. Sanchez, he does what he wants. Alexis Sanchez, he does what he wants, says Paul Robinson. He certainly does, from what we've seen so far. Bloody hell, they call him the Wanderer. Hey Mark, good morning, says Sagar. Good morning, pal. I'm just going to have to give in to this good morning stuff, aren't I?
Yes, of course you will.
Martial needs to stay. Jose will go. Maximum by next year, says Karan. I don't think... Martial, I've not asked you about that, Marcus, and I know... What are your feelings about Martial and the situation?
Martial, do you know what? There's so much going around in the paper talk. You get a couple of papers saying he's unhappy, a couple of papers saying that he's happy. I genuinely think the lad is going to stay, and I just think it's been blown way out of proportion. Obviously, Mourinho said his comments, which he can't deny. We all know about, that he should be there after the birth of his child. And like you said, that's wrong. That was wrong for him to say. But again, when you're getting paid that amount of money and you know how thin the squad is out there, I think it's a 50-50 thing. I really do. But, I can see both sides to the story, but I think he's going to stay.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to go, but it's nice to get a different opinion. I was just putting my face up in shock, because I put a tweet out today saying I've never seen a third choice goalkeeper get so many tweets and interviews by Manchester United over this summer. And here he is again. He's on the telly again doing bloody autographs. It's like we've signed bloody Alisson or something like that. It's like we've signed the world's best goalkeeper. He was getting the cones out for Stoke a few months ago. He's Stoke's B-Tech goalkeeper. He's nothing. And United are interviewing him constantly like he's some sort of bloody world superstar. He's just the third choice goalkeeper. Nothing against the lad, but he's a nobody. He's just there to help out in training. He's never going to play any games. He's basically a rubbish goalkeeper at Premier League standard. He's just to go in. He's someone. It's like when you're at school and you need someone to go in goal. That's what he is. He's basically someone on the training ground who's going to go in goal, so we've got lots of people to train with. But he gives so many bloody interviews. It irritates me, Marcus, to be honest, because you know why it irritates me? Because it's Manchester United trying to pull the bloody wool over everyone's eyes again, going, oh, look at our new signing.
Yeah.
What they don't realise is no one gives a crap about this signing, and no one's falling for the fact that you've messed up the transfer window. And now, they've announced Fred about 4 times. They really have.
I've seen that on Twitter, yeah. Announcing him and his number on Twitter quite a few times, haven't they?
Yeah. I don't know. Happy says calm down.
Maybe it's just Manchester United's way of trying to take away, not putting the pressure on Fred because he's the high-profile signing that we've made so far. It could be that they don't want anything to distract him, or they don't want any of the kids interviewed. Am I right in thinking that Grant is technically the oldest senior player out there at the minute?
I don't know. I certainly think he's one of the crappiest. And I say that in total honesty because we watched the Liverpool game at the weekend. And I tell you what, I don't think he's even a Premier League goalkeeper. I think he's probably League 2. The amount of times he was kicking that ball out, at Premier League level, it really stood out. We were obviously scared of Liverpool's press. We kept knocking the ball back to him. And he was kicking it out all the time, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He doesn't trust his left foot at all. We saw that in the last game. Actually, we've seen it quite a few times over the course of this pre-season so far. Everything has got to go on his right foot, which is a bit of a worry if he's being put under pressure and he's on his left-hand side. There's quite a few teams, obviously, in the Premier League with quick strikers that like to attack on the front foot all the time. So Could be a bit of a worry if he starts any games in the Premier League or in the Cup games.
I mean, honestly, because we're live at the moment, I've got MUTV on mute, so all I can see is him sat there talking, and he's wide-eyed, he looks very happy. But I'm just going to tell you what I think he's saying at the moment. Well, I can't believe it. There I am, washing the kit and just putting the cones out at Stoke City. I get a phone call from Jose Mourinho saying, "Come and be a goalkeeper." I just can't believe it. I'm living the dream. It's like I've won the lottery. Anybody could do this. I'm bang average, and here I am. And I'm on holiday in America as well. I've never been to America. It's fantastic. I mean, I'm sure he's not saying that, but he's living the dream. He's living the dream. Simon Grabowski says Grant is our star signing, and Dean Kazaboff says Grant's distribution is abysmal. It got me highly frustrated. Well, look, we're not going to, in all seriousness, we're not going to see him anywhere near the first team. And if we do, we're in trouble. But we've got Romero as well, so he's not. Sorry, we're going to try and
good. Well, I was going to say, the good thing is, De Gea starts, So I wouldn't be surprised tonight if De Gea plays the whole 90 minutes, purely because of, I'm just thinking Jose might want to, just have a slide dig at Madrid and say, ha, we still got him sort of thing, you know?
Yeah. They've got Bale, though, haven't they? Woodward, I think, is going to be crying into his bloody programme about that, but...
Yeah, there is that, but I know which player I'd rather have out of the two, and that's De Gea, mate, hands down.
Oh, yeah, you know what? And also, I mean, I'm really looking forward to... Obviously, I'll do the match reaction straight after, but I'm really looking forward to the press conference that Jose Mourinho gives, because we've got to see a change in positivity now, because he can't keep moaning. De Gea's back. Fred's now back. Lindelof's training and has been training back in Manchester, so when they go back, he'll be there for the Germany game against Bayern Munich. I think tomorrow Jones and Rashford are back training in Manchester. Martial's going to be training in Manchester. I think Pogba, Lingard, and your man Fellaini and everyone else like that will be back at the weekend, and Lukaku. So, he's gradually... I think the US tour has been... Well, we don't even think it. We know that Mourinho has been very unhappy on this US tour, but hopefully things are about to get a little bit better for us. And I think, as he said, the positive thing for him will be winning the Real Madrid game. The Leicester game. Joseph Young says, Grant will just kick the ball out of the stadium. I thought I was watching baseball. Well, yeah, he ain't going to get any game time because I'd played De Gea, like Marcus says. Oscar James says, I wanted Rob Green. I was going to say it could have been worse. We could have been Chelsea and we could have got Rob Green.
It could have been. Definitely.
Hala Madrid says Javier Hernandez. I'm just looking at their lineup here. Apparently Vinicius Jr., who's number 28 for them, he's playing on the left-hand side. Bale's playing on the right. And this Vinicius Jr. is the next Neymar. So he's playing against Darmian. So whether he's the next Neymar or not, he's going to look like the next Neymar tonight because Darmian's crap. I mean, let's not forget, Darmian made them Bristol City and Yeovil wingers look good. So if number 28 for Real Madrid tonight, this Vinicius Jr. has a good game, he's been touted as the next Neymar. But let's not forget, he's playing against Darmian. Mad Marcus had looked like the next Neymar against him. And he's pushing 40. So there we go.
Hey, hang on a minute. You're older than me. You forgot to mention that. You're going to be 40 before me.
I got in there first. Apparently Zidane is wanted to replace Mourinho, says Chill Jaffa. And Jose didn't want Lindelof to fly out, but moans about Martial, says Messi Move. Well, I think the way he treated Martial wasn't right, to be honest. Pereira should be at right wing. He is good there at Valencia, says Aidan Cooley. I think he's doing fantastically well at CDM, to be honest, and with no Matic, it's good. It's a nice time in Thailand, says Andy Francis Bangkok, because it's 7 a.m. Darmian's going to get scorched, says Jan Menton. Chuck us some questions, because I've got Mad Marcus with me for a little bit longer. Although Lewis Ford says you're making the show boring. Don't worry, Matt. He's already called... He said, Mark, you're an idiot. So his banter's not even that good.
He's been ever since I come on, I've noticed his comments. He's been giving me stick all through it. And Matthew as well.
He called me an idiot. He says, He says, Mark, you are an idiot. I was like, that's very tame. It's very tame, but good try.
Thanks for noticing.
Yeah. John Kai says, love this channel. When's it starting? Exactly half an hour. We just went... The team news came out really, really early. I don't know why. Well, at least you're giving us a bit of a laugh. What's with the Beck's picture? I don't know. Drawty designed this studio. He gets obviously creative freedom. I ask for a couple of things, but the picture is never really my choice, apart from when it's Duncan Edwards. So I don't know why he's gone with Beckham. I think he loves David Beckham. Simple as that, isn't it? At least it's not Fellaini. He's put Fellaini on there before. I don't think the Fellaini toy's there, is it? Good.
No, he's took it off.
Vixter, I've watched that video. To be honest, I don't think it was that bad, and I've said anytime I'll go on there anytime. So let's see what they do. Do you still think there is any chance with Martial as Ryan Khan? Well, Marcus does.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing. Go on, sorry, mate.
So I was just going to say, I definitely do. And I mean, usually, as you said before, if you cross Mourinho, that's it. Your time's up. But we've seen with Pereira so far on this tour, he's given some praise. Luke Shaw, again, has got another shot tonight. So I think there is still, I mean, he had fallout with Pogba last season, I think there's still some room there for their relationship to grow. I don't think it's completely over with Martial. Until the transfer window's shut, he's still there as far as I'm concerned, and he should be used.
Simon Stone says that Marcus Rashford and Jesse Lingard are actually at this game tonight.
Oh, that's interesting.
I thought he was back in training tomorrow morning.
That'd be interesting. Are you looking it up, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's have a look. I'll have a look at some comments. So, Chill says, would you rather have Rashford on the left or the right? I think the way we're playing, if it's going to be the 4-3-3, I would say Rashford on the right-hand side. Martial on the left and Alexis behind Lukaku. That's the way I would go. Mark, would you rather keep Martial or lose Jose from Reaper?
I hate that question because it's always a good one.
It's a tough
let me just
one,
read the super chat from Cobros Akins and I'll come back to that. Call me crazy, but I think Grant is a great shot stopper for third goalkeeper. When did distribution become more important than ability to keep the ball out of the net? You know what, Cobb? It's personal opinion, isn't it? In seriousness, if we get injuries to Romero and De Gea, I'd still rather play Phil Jones in goal. No, I'm joking. I'm giving Grant a load of stick here. I've given him a load of stick from day one, and it's only because I just think I'm so irritated by the transfer window that he sort of symbolises it in a way. But to be fair, he probably will play some Carabao Cup games. But I also do think that distribution is very important in the modern game, because if you've got a goalkeeper who can receive the ball and play the ball accurately like De Gea can, then it means the ball doesn't go out for a throw into the opposition. And I remember when we replaced Schmeichel with Bosnich, who was a good goalkeeper, but his distribution was terrible, and you really noticed it. So I think distribution is really important, but each to their own. With regards to Martial or Mourinho, I mean, if I was to say I'd rather lose Mourinho and keep Martial, that's going to go pretty much, everyone's going to jump on me for that. So what would you, Marcus, what would you do?
I got to say, and this is, I don't know, this is going to be a bit controversial, I think, but I would base it on how we're playing football at the minute. And I would say I'd rather keep Martial, to be honest, because I'm finding the football a little bit tedious, a little bit boring, predictable.
I think a lot of people would agree with you on that,
Yeah, but I mean, that's in no way I'm Jose out or anything like that. I do want Jose in charge of the club, and I do want him to be given the 3 years that he signed for. But I just wish that he would improve his man management and his tactics a bit better than what he does at the minute. I don't think it suits United fully. And I think it's more like a bit of a power struggle between him and the club. Like, he's adamant that he wants to do things his way, but the club have a history about doing things a certain way. And I think Jose's that arrogant that he's trying to prove that his way is right, which I don't think works, and which I also think is causing most of the trouble.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with you on that one. I just don't think. I think it's a very hard thing to say. I'd rather get rid of a goalkeeper for one player. But I do agree with what you're saying about the style of play. What I would say is ask me this question in 2 months' time. Martial will probably be gone. But the only thing that makes me probably sit on the fence with this, and I hate sitting on the fence, is that we've got to see whether how Manchester United start the season, how Manchester United play at the start of the season, because it just I think that's the important thing. But I don't know.
I think the first
says Robert Moore. Thanks, Pat. Go on.
I was just going to say, I think the first 5 games maybe of the Premier League is going to dictate how our season pans out in terms of the style of football. Because if it's still the same style of football, when all our players, well, the majority of them, all of them will be back within those first 4 or 5 games. I think it's the writing could be on the wall for Jose at a very early stage.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fans are ready, aren't they, to jump one way or the other, and I think a lot of fans want to see something positive. You know, I firmly believe that if in the next 2 weeks, well, it's not even 2 weeks now, is it? It's nearly a week. A week on Thursday, the transfer window shuts. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
If United signed 2 decent players in that time, say Alderweireld and Pulisic, I think people would feel a lot more positive going into the new season. If we signed Yerry Mina and that's it, I don't think people are going to be very positive going into this season. And I think I feel with the support, and I don't know what people in the live comments think, and I don't know what you think, Marcus, but I feel that United fans at the moment are just waiting for an opportunity to jump on him. And you can't jump on him really in a pre-season game, although people have sort of jumped on him. But the first bad result in the Premier League, he is going to get it, because the first bad result in the Premier League pretty much means the title race is over. And I know that sounds really far-fetched, but we saw with Man City last season, they hardly dropped any points. So you've got to win nearly every game just to be competitive to win the title. And I think the first time we drop points, whether it's a draw at home to somebody like Leicester or away to Brighton, or when we play Spurs we get beaten, the first result that goes against us that really we should be getting, that is when people are going to jump. And I don't know whether the club are aware of that. I don't even know if Jose's aware of that, but I'm certainly aware of it as somebody who does the United Stand and keeps their eye on all social media. Fans are not happy, whether it's the United Stand, whether it's Reddit forums, or whether it's websites and people writing in the comments there, or just on Twitter in general.
Yeah, definitely. I think when Mourinho's doing his press conferences, his interviews and everything like that, I mean, the fans can really only be positive or react positively from what the manager is saying. So, if he's talking in his press conferences saying it's a waste of time coming out here, he wouldn't pay that money to watch this and American stuff like that. I mean, what are the positives out of that? I mean, Mourinho is at the forefront of our club. He is the guy that we're looking at to inject us as fans, as buying the merchandise and stuff like that. We're looking at him to give us some positive news. But everything that's coming out there is negative in a minute, and that is obviously going to go into the start of the season. So as soon as something goes wrong, whether it's in the first game, second, third, even the 10th game, the fans will remember and pick up on what he's been saying throughout this tour and jump on him. And he's got to be aware of that. He's made some really, really bad decisions so far. I think the signings now, if we get any come in, are going to come across as panic signings, because why weren't they done before the World Cup? People are going to base these signings on the World Cup performances. So he's going to get a lot of backlash, I think. No matter what happens, no matter who we sign, that we're all going to complain and pick holes in it one way or the other. So I think he's treading a very thin line at the minute.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a question here from Joseph Young for you, actually, which you can answer just while I'm putting a tweet out. And he says, Marcus, what would you prefer, Darmian or the Glazers at Manchester United?
Oh,
You've got to keep one.
I think I'd have to go Darmian, I'm afraid. I'd get the Glazers out. I really would, because I think behind the scenes, I think the root of the problem of Manchester United is having business people controlling our club. Business people who are only interested in profit, have no idea about English football whatsoever, have no idea about the history of the club. And I just think that they're depending an awful lot on Woodward getting the sponsorship deals. And I don't think that's right. We've got tons and tons of money coming through our club, and we're not even seeing half of that go back into the team. And I think it's a really, really sad state of affairs at the minute. But someone's got to give. Someone's got to give. So either the Glazers have got to back down and back Mourinho, or I think Mourinho will probably end up walking or getting the sack, I think.
Jamie Johnson says, if Maguire joined us, who would you pick as his centre-back partner? I would go with Maguire on the left-hand side and Bay on the right. You, Marcus?
Yeah, I'd go exactly the same, mate. Providing Bay stays fit throughout the season, I think he can be an awesome defender. But Lindelof and Maguire could also be a good partnership as well.
Yeah, I'd like to see a 3-5-2, to be honest, and I'd play all three of them, but you've got to sign somebody first. We've got to sign someone. Gaval says, Darmian all day long, make him captain and controlling stake. I think he's going to get absolutely rinsed tonight by the new Neymar. Watch out for that. The new Neymar's playing.
Who's captain tonight? Is it Darmian again?
Don't know. I didn't even notice, to be honest. If anyone knows who the captain is, let us know. We've won titles with the Glazers, not with Darmian's. Jack Sean, good point. Business people control City as well, don't they? Says Boris Rada. Yeah, they're not really business people though. They're not really business people. They Manchester City is sort of a toy that they wanted to win everything with and then turn it into a going concern. The Glazers bought Manchester United for the sole reason of making money. They didn't. Man City actually want that club to be the best club in the world as well. That's their main focus. They want to win everything. Okay. About
the thing? So I was just going to say the thing there about we won titles with the Glazers, but you got to remember we had the greatest manager that's ever lived in football in charge. He knew how to get a player. He knew how to convince a player. He got what he wanted, no matter what. Well, 99% of the time he got what he wanted. But with the last three managers at the minute, it's coming across to me as though the Glazers, they're not trusting who's in charge. Because I personally think that if you've got a manager in charge, they should back him no matter what. Obviously, there's a limit to how they can back him, But I just don't think they're trusting every decision that our past three managers are making. And Beck says Bay's captain.
Bay's captain. Well, there you go. That's interesting because I just read a comment there saying that he only ever seems to see Bay as a squad player, but he's got him captain tonight. I think he's very impressed with Bay, actually. Jose's very simple. I don't mean in a thick way, but I think I don't like, and I don't know people in the comments think as well. Jose is very simple to read if you're a footballer. I mean, look at the way with Jones, look at the way with Fellaini, look at the way with Bay now. Why does he love these players? He loves Bay not because of the way he plays football, because he had a bit of an injury and he was going to have to play two centre-backs who were inexperienced, and Bay said, I'm not having that, I'll play. So now Mourinho loves Bay because he ran through a brick wall for him. And that's why he loves Fellaini, because he runs through a brick wall for him. And that's why he likes Jones, because he just runs through brick walls because he's thick. But, I'm joking, but as a Manchester United manager, I expect us to buy players who want to run through brick walls anyway. I don't actually give a damn about whether that's what they do. They should run through brick walls for wearing this shirt. What I want is people I want people who run through brick walls but are actually good at football. But Jose Mourinho seems to value running through brick walls ahead of being good footballers. And, it's great. It's great if Phil Jones runs through brick walls, but he also costs us points and trophies. Why can't we go and get some players who run through brick walls and are actually good footballers? And Jose seems to have lost sight of that. And Old Brownie says, spending big money on a player when you know the manager won't be there next season would be stupid. See, that is a good point, but I don't for 1 minute think the club have got any intention of getting rid of Jose Mourinho. I just think they're quite tight, Marcus.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was trying to say, mate, but I didn't actually want to just come out and say it like that. But yeah, I mean, hit the nail on the head. I think that, they are very tight people, but they're astute businessmen, aren't they? I mean, that's what they know. They bought the club to make money. They've certainly got their money's worth out of the club. All these sponsorship deals, it lines their pockets even more. And I actually think that the reason why we have so many sponsorship deals is purely because they want to see their money come back. They don't want to just give Jose a transfer fund of, say, 200 million and not get nothing out of it. They want the sponsorship money to come in so they don't see such a big hole in their pockets. I mean, why else really would you get sponsorship deals about a bloody tractor and kitchens and stuff like that, It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense from a football point of view, but from a business point of view, which is what they know and which is what Ed Woodward knows, it makes sense.
Oh yeah, from a business point of view, it's like I said earlier on, isn't it? And I don't know whether anyone saw the show earlier on when I said that Manchester United made the same amount of money from the Premier League last year as Man City did, but Man City won the title.
Yeah.
So if they're, the Glazers aren't Manchester United fans. I don't think Ed Woodward's a Manchester United fan either. So they're just doing a job as businessmen, making a lot of money. And when somebody walks in the room like Jose Mourinho and says, "I need £300 million to win the league," and they go, "Right, but we made the same money as Man City last season, not winning the league." And Mourinho's like, "Yeah, but I'm here to win trophies." Well, you are, but you're here to win trophies within our parameters of making money for our shareholders. So we can give you 50 million, but you're not having 300 million. Well, I can't win the league. Well, that's all we're giving you, because why should we spend 300 million pounds and we're not going to get it back? How much do we get for winning the Premier League? Nothing. So we're run by businessmen, like you said.
It's probably, I mean, that way of thinking is probably the same way of thinking that Arsenal's been thinking like for the last 10 odd years. As long as they get in the top four, that's all that matters. It didn't matter about coming first, second, third or fourth. As long as they got in the top four, they knew that the equal monies that was coming in was enough. It was enough for the shareholders or, the board and everything else in there. So I think it's going the same way at United, unfortunately. But I think the root of the problem is the Glazers. I don't see any manager coming in that's not going to have the same problem in the future. No matter who it is, I mean, Mourinho, he's got the best CV on paper. He's a serial winner, and even he's having problems getting money out of them. So what good is Dan going to do? What good is Pochettino going to do? They're both going to have the same problem, and it all comes down to the board.
Luke Johnson says they don't understand, to make money you need to spend money. You're right, Luke. And The Rock says, love the channel, watching United stand, SmackDown, United Real, hoping 2 more or I'll rock bottom Ed Woodward if you smell what the Mark is cooking. And that's from The Rock. Yeah, I like The Rock. I don't think he does wrestling anymore, does he? He's too busy making films. But the people's elbow.
He's the highest paid actor in Hollywood at the minute.
There we go. Someone keeps going on about Astro World. I've never heard of it. Have you heard of it, Marcus?
No, never. Sounds like a TV series.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. Chris Smalling's not leaving Rayuck. Whoever's put that story out on Twitter, a few people have messaged me about it, and it's a fake story. So George Kyle is going to be crying because he loves... he's the opposite of loves Chris Smalling. So when that story came out, he was probably really excited, but there's no truth in it. I mean, Jose's not going to get rid of Smalling anyway. He plays him loads.
He's been quite complimentary about Smalling, actually, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Over the last few games. Obviously, apart from the last games, he pulled out. But, the last couple of games, even Smalling's said some complimentary stuff that could get you thinking if you read between the lines.
Just tuned in. How do you feel about Rojo leaving, says Mike Ross. Well, you can answer that, Marcus. And then you can leave yourself.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. How do I feel about Rojo leaving? Not too disappointed. He had a really good first couple of seasons, I think, but he's then petered out with injuries and lost his place in the team. And obviously, Mourinho doesn't trust him enough. He's not a good left back. He was a better centre back for me. But I think he's one of those players that we could do without. A good squad player, but never a first teamer.
Yeah, but you'd get rid of Jones before Rojo, wouldn't you?
I'd get rid of Jones and Smalling. Yeah, I'd get rid of Jones and Smalling before him, but that's not going to happen.
Smalling. Nothing wrong with Smalling. I don't know why people give him such bad stick.
No, mate, he climbs on everyone's back, and no, not for me at all. Bad position.
From the man who loves Fellaini. See, that's the thing. All the people in the live comments were going, "Oh, Marcus, I'm glad you've said that about Smalling," and then I'm going to throw you under the bus and say, "Yeah, but he loves Fellaini. He loves Fellaini." So
but Fellaini runs through a brick wall. Remember that.
Yeah. Well, MMA News said so. You'd rather have a player who runs through. A good player who's lazy over someone who runs through brick walls. Yeah, I would. Because the good player is what Manchester United's all about. But in all seriousness, this comes down to the management and recruitment at Manchester United, because we shouldn't have a squad that's got flair players who don't work hard enough and crap players who run through brick walls. That's what we seem to have at United at the moment. And Jose always goes for these crap players who run through brick walls because he knows he'll get the effort from them. But because he can't get the effort out of the good players. So this comes down to bad management and bad recruitment. One, why have we bought players with bad attitudes if they have got bad attitudes? Two, why can't the manager get the best out of these players and has to rely on the workhorse players? That's what I think, anyway.
Yep. Apparently, Astroworld is an album.
All right, by Travis Scott, who I've never heard of as well.
There you go. Well, yeah, me neither. But okay. Yeah, I'll leave you to it then, mate. So
I was going because Jared's going to come on, isn't he? That's the only thing.
Yeah, I'll be in the comments for anyone who wants to take the mick out of me.
Well, thanks. For
now I'm in there. No worries. My pleasure.
250,000 subscriber special, and we're going to smash Real Madrid just because it's. I've sent a message to Jose Mourinho. I said, look, before the lads go out, tell them we've hit 250,000 subscribers on the United stand, and I know they all love it and they'll all be up for it because I'm talking crap.
That's it. Well, congrats on 250,000 to you and everyone who's involved. And so have a good show then. I'll be in the comments. I'll speak to you later.
All right, mate. Speak to you in a bit. Ta-da.
All right. See ya.
Ta-da. Let me just have a look. I need to reply to this person. Sack Mourinho, bring in Zidane, says Linda Higgins. Remember, if you are new, subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, you can see the little ticker there. We are live every night at 8 o'clock, and we have Transfer Daily, although we don't have it tomorrow morning because by the time we finish there, it's going to be about 3 or 4 hours before Transfer Daily. And I can tell you Transfer Daily right now. Transfer Daily right now is that there is no news. There is no news. We've got the Yerry Mina story. And that's about it. There's nothing going on with Manchester United. With a week to go, there's absolutely nothing going on. Would you take Fergie back for 2 years to steady the ship? Says Patrick Carroll. I don't think Sir Alex Ferguson is in any state to come back at the moment. He's just recovering from major head trauma, isn't he, from the operation that he had. And I don't think he'll ever be managing football again. But I don't think he was ever going to anyway. I think you've got to look beyond Sir Alex. The greatest sports manager there's ever been, Sir Alex Ferguson. So, but you can't look back. You can't look back. You've got to look forward. And look, all I can say to everybody is that we have this season coming up, and it could go the way some people think it is, which is going to be the same as last season, or we could be pleasantly surprised. You know, England went into a World Cup and surprised a lot of people. Maybe Manchester United are going to do that as well. We have got some really good players. Some really, really good players at Manchester United. So I'm hoping that they'll come through for us and play for the manager. Of course, if they don't play for the manager or the manager upsets them, that may not happen. Who do you think is going to win the league? Says Reece Salary. Well, we'll speak about that next week. But to be honest with you, I would say that you can't look further away than Manchester City at the moment. I certainly don't think Liverpool are going to win it. No chance. Not with Klopp in charge. Dan Walsh, I watched it. I left a comment on it. So I didn't actually think it was that bad. And I've said more than happy to go on. We took the Kop and Chelsea too. Sven Goran Eriksson is available, says MMA News. Sack Ed Woodward, says Russell Williams. And are you going to show the game, says Bluefish97. No, we're a watch-along. We're Manchester United's biggest independent fan channel. And we just go live we go live every day about everything and discuss it. That's why we have the live comments. But we do not... we can't show you the game because we haven't got the rights to show you the game. But we'll keep you up to date with what's going on. Liverpool will win the Premier League, says Dan Carlton. Yeah, I bet they will. I really think they will. And I'll score the winner in the cup final for United. The Carabao Cup final. We've had a super chat from Hayder Mundley. He says, back Mourinho at United and it's my birthday today. Wish me some luck. Come on, United. Happy birthday to Hayder Mundley from me. And I'm sure you'll get a few in the live comments saying that as well. Stadium looks pretty empty. This is Jason McDermott. Well, apparently they fill up during the game, although we are 6 minutes away from kickoff. I don't think this US tour thing. I don't know whether we've got many Americans on, but I don't know whether they are sort of milking it a bit now because it's every single year, isn't it? And I don't know whether Americans are getting a little bit tired of it. Maybe because it's World Cup year as well, but maybe they're sort of seeing it for what it is now. That people teams really aren't taking it seriously. It's just exhibition. Where did you get the Erimina news from, says NJMC. So Duncan Castles spoke about it, who's a journalist who's meant to be quite close to Mourinho, and RMC, who are a news outlet, were reporting it as well. I'm hoping it's a smokescreen. I think it'd be a terrible signing for Manchester United, to be honest with you, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. It's very, very quiet in relation to Manchester United and transfer news at the moment, and it's also looking very top four predictions, says Sean Welsh. Manchester United will be in there, Man City will be in there, Liverpool will be in there, and Spurs. Keith says, I'm American and no one cares about football here. Right, well, I've got Jared about to join me, who I think he does care about football. Jared, how are you doing?
I'm good, Mark. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. We were just talking about why the ground is so empty again, but you got any thoughts?
Well, I think it's pricing, honestly. When you go in London or in the UK, prices tend to be more affordable. But here, like Andrew was saying, they approach $100 to even walk in the door. So it's very expensive for like games like this or the bigger games with United. So I think that's probably it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I wouldn't want to pay. To be honest, if this was being played at Old Trafford 2 weeks before the start of the season, when I know Mourinho's not got his best team, and I know Real Madrid are playing their first pre-season game, I wouldn't be happy spending anything more than 20 quid on it, which is about 4 times less than what you play for a normal Premier League game. And you lot are probably paying what for a ticket?
100, but then if you want to sit in a good area, you're looking at double that or more.
So,
yeah, and it's funny when your manager tells you don't come, it's very easy to just say, yeah, he's probably right. Like, let's just not go.
It's ridiculous, really. Anyway, we've been live for a long time because the team news came out a long, long time ago. But we've got Pereira, Herrera, McTominay and Fred, which is 4 midfielders playing. So we think it's going to be Pereira holding the midfield with Herrera and McTominay, and then Fred playing in a more advanced position with Mata because he can do that. And then Sanchez, and obviously Shaw, Bay, Fosu Mensah, Darmian and De Gea. So slightly stronger team for Manchester United, I think. And Old Brownie says, I live in LA, love United and love LAFC. There you go. But thoughts on the team, Jared?
I'm excited to see. Look, Pereira, we always said starting this tour, let's hope one of the fan favorites comes out of it looking like a golden child, and Pereira looks incredible. I mean, out of everything you're seeing on this tour, out of all the negativity around the club, Pereira looks amazing. Like, I don't think there's any conversation, is he leaving? I think people are like, I hope he's starting day one. So I'm excited to see him. I think Chong has looked good, but that was more a pipe dream for us. But it's nice to see that Pereira seems to have found his feet in La Liga and come back ready to go for the season. So I'm excited.
Manchester says, also, people don't want to pay to not see stars like Lukaku, Pogba and Real Madrid stars. Yeah, I agree with that. And World Cup year obviously makes it difficult because a lot of those stars aren't going to be there.
Yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword too, because you don't want to pay for not having stars there, and it's not like the team atmosphere is great. Like you have other teams that are selling out, even though Kane isn't playing with the Spurs. You know, the Spurs are doing well around the States because the atmosphere is, I think, a little bit more positive around the club, and they understand that the stars are not there for the World Cup. I think that that's probably contributing to it. I think it's very close when you have to spend that type of money to go to the stadium. A lot of people are just like, it's easier to stay home.
99 PJ Vac says nobody likes Scott McTominay in America. I don't think many people like him in England, to be honest. I'm joking. I think most people think he needs to go on loan. But I mean, what are your thoughts on this game, Jared? Because I'm just looking at the team news there for Real Madrid, and obviously it's not their first team by a long way. But Gareth Bale's playing, Benzema's playing, the new Neymar's playing against Neymar, Darmian, Vinicius, JR.
Vinicius is supposed to be a full-blown superstar already. So I think...
Is this the one they bought this summer?
Yeah, I think he's going to be... I actually think he's going to tear it up this game. I think he's one of the reasons they were comfortable to get rid of certain people on their team. You know, it's interesting. You see these young people and you see what other people are doing with youth. I think it's just a season tour, but don't be surprised if you see him starting games for Madrid this season, and quite a few of them.
Good. That's going well, which is nice to see. Okay, so we must be more or less at kickoff time because it's 1:05 here in the UK, and that means it must be close to kickoff. I will start the timer for you as soon as it starts. From a Manchester United point of view, Jared, what's your sort of prediction for this game? Do you think I went 3-1 loss. I think we're running on empty. I think Mourinho can't wait to get out of America and get back to Manchester, and obviously, but. You know, it is Real Madrid's first game, so maybe we might be able to catch them a little bit cold.
If we're catching them cold, I think we're winning 1-0. To be fair, but I think Madrid 3-1. I think it's a fair statement. I think that guy Vinicius is going to score a brace too. I think he's going to be incredible. I really do. I think, you know, again, if you're not excited to see us today, it's going to be exciting to watch him. He's going to be special. But that's what, you know, I think that's part of the frustrating thing that we talk about all the time is you see these unbelievable youth players that we should be signing and growing, and we don't. And it gets very frustrating.
It's just, I mean, this comes back to Pulisic, who obviously you know a lot about being American, and he's potentially available at the moment, and there's just no way in my mind that Jose Mourinho is going to go for that sort of a player. No way in a million years. He doesn't want that sort of a player. He wants established players. So, but anyway, we're about to kick off. So let me just get the timer ready, and as soon as the ref kicks it off, we will be up and running. Luke Shaw against Gareth Bale. Good. We've totally missed that, to be fair. Luke Shaw obviously didn't play in the last game. Massive test for him if he does quite well. I mean, it's not fit Bale, is it? But it's certainly it's Gareth Bale against Luke Shaw. So we've kicked off. The timer below the 0-0 is up and running. And Jose said Bale isn't a leader, but he's captain. Says an old brownie. There you go. Well, I think Jose Mourinho suddenly likes Eric Bailly again now. He's probably been invited up to the top table with Fellaini and Jones.
Right. Which is, you know what, it's good to see, though, because he is well deserving of that table spot. He's probably the most likely to become a superstar defender. And I think that Mourinho sees him as needing a partner more than anyone else. I don't know why he doesn't see Lindelof as one, which is a little unfortunate, but that's okay. And I think Maguire he would be nice. I hope we don't sign Mina. I do not think that would be a great signing, especially because Mourinho's confirmed that there's one more signing, so that would not be great.
So I'm just looking at the United team because I think this is the most crucial thing in the first few minutes. So Pereira is definitely holding the midfield. Fred is playing very close to Pereira, so he's not playing more advanced. And Herrera, so Scott McTominay's playing a left wing position.
Very interesting.
I mean, or is he playing as a left? Yeah. It's weird. I'm trying to I'm monitoring this formation in front of me. So it's Pereira and Fred.
Oh, nice
With
pass.
Mata and Sanchez. Darmian's pushing forward a lot. It's almost like Luke Shaw's a left centre back, and we are playing a 3-5-2.
The perfect formation.
Weird. Everyone else give their opinion in the live comments. It looks like a 3-5-2 to me, with Luke Shaw as a left centre back, which is a little bit odd, but there we go.
It'd be
I like
interesting,
the 3-5-2 though,
especially with the team that we have, because if we sign one more defender, you wonder if it's Lindelof, Bay, and let's say Maguire, and you have Young more advanced than he was before, which would be perfect for him.
Yeah, he's definitely. We're definitely playing a 3-5-2.
Yeah, but again, I think it's just exciting to see it back. You know, we're not going to know what's going to happen until the games start going off, but I'm excited to see who we sign.
Yeah, I mean, on the signings, we are basically a week left. Do you think we'll? How many do you think we're going to get?
So honestly, I think we're going to get 2. And the only reason I say that is because if the one thing the Glazers are not, it's they're not bad businessmen. And this tour has been an atrocious example of our power as a world club. It's been horrible. Like when you look at the stadiums, we had every seat filled the year before. Every one. There's very little optimism, and I do feel that the club needs to make fans excited again, because they are running dangerously close to that point where people turn. So
actually, I think Scott McTominay's a left centre back.
It's an interesting one. I don't know. I think we've kind of, run the McTominay train out. I wish they would loan him out, give him some experience outside of the club.
Oh, Mourinho. The thing is, Mourinho's going to love him even more, isn't he? I asked Scott to play at left centre back, and he played at left centre back.
Right. Again, you know what though? If you see what Pereira's saying after these games, it's great. Like I saw him read. He's like, the boss wants me to play number 6. I look forward to it. He's just like, he understands the mentality of Jose, and it's like, I'm actually starting to feel that Pereira is going to be playing a lot more.
Yeah, that is the massive positive. ESPN says it's a 4-4-2 diamond with Fred centre attacking midfield, Pereira CDM, says Zeki. Harad, we're definitely not playing that formation.
Also, the game's on ESPN too, if anyone is watching in the States.
Mata and Sanchez are playing as a front 2, and Herrera and Fred are playing just in front of Pereira as a midfield 3, and Scott McTominay, I'm pretty sure, is playing as a left centre back. Here we go. Should be 1-0 up. What are you doing, Mata? Oh, why didn't he hit that? It's a decent cross in, and I don't know why Mata doesn't hit it first time. What a chance. Brilliant chance. Are you ahead of me,
No,
Derek?
I'm right there with you, actually.
Okay. Yeah, it's a nice little cross in, that is, and I don't know why he doesn't hit it. I don't know why Mata doesn't hit that.
I got a little focused on the Kohler badge, to be honest. So, distracted me.
Yeah, McTominay's actually playing as a left centre back.
Yeah. But I want to see Madrid open the game up a little bit too. But I mean, you think we'll get 1 or 2 more signings?
He'll probably play McTominay as left centre back now.
No, I can't see this. I know today, but there's people, right? Ooh, look at him. There he is. 28 is the number. It's also exciting to see Fred. I'm happy to finally get him in a jersey. Plus, the name Fred. How could you not come to United?
Fred looks sharp, says Aelt's fun. What do I think upon the lineup, Mark? Says Timmy. I'm glad that we're playing a 3-5-2. I've got to be honest. I like that formation, and I really want to see us playing it into the Premier League season because I think it's the best formation we played under Jose Mourinho last season. So I really do want to see that. But
yeah,
this is. I don't think it matters how well Scott McTominay plays in this game. You can already tell. I think Jose Mourinho just wanted something to speak positive about, and he will be right up McTominay's backside after this. Oh, I asked him to play it at the last minute, and he did it, and his leg was hanging off, and some story to just big him up. But I agree. I think he needs to go on loan. Chanel Wills says you should keep Jared on for this match. He's good. That was the plan. So thank you. Here's Real Madrid down the right hand side. Cross, Benzema, side netting, nearly a goal. Good play that was by Real Madrid. I thought he'd scored there. Fortunately, Benzema can't hit the ocean from a boat. He's terrible. He's absolutely terrible at finishing.
Benzema on this team was always excellent at making Ronaldo better. I don't know his purpose anymore.
Yeah, he's a hard worker. That's what he is.
Right, and he always was selfless. He always set up Ronaldo for his chances. He put him in the best position to be successful. I would be shocked if that doesn't happen kind of with Bale now.
Just on relation to that goal, Benzema probably should have scored, but
yeah,
the problem comes down the left-hand side. Luke Shaw loses his man, and McTominay hasn't got the pace to take the man. So I don't want to be overly critical because at the end of the day, Scott McTominay's playing left centre-back, and
listen,
the quickest anyway. So
the left side of this team is going to cost us not only this season; it cost us last season as well. So it's something that Jose Mourinho identified as the weakness of this team, and I think worked on correcting it last year with Perisic, who I think would have alternated between left back and left winger. And then I think that you also take into effect that now he went after Sandro, both not given to him. Not good. Not good. I still believe Sandro.
Yeah.
I really do. I think that United understand they may need to just pay the money for Sandro.
I don't think it's going to happen now. Not at this late stage. I just don't think we can get Sandro. But I think we were in for him, and something went wrong. And
all right. So
left back was the biggest thing for me.
Would you, right? Let's just say Mourinho, after all this, when the window's closed in the Premier League, right before the window closes, he decides to swap Martial for Sandro.
We need a bit of money as well.
Right.
But
sure.
I think the trouble is if we let Martial go and don't get a right midfielder, that's bad because we haven't got the strength in depth there. So we'd solve one problem and cause another. If we sign a right midfielder, I would do the Martial for Sandro thing. I don't want Martial to go, but I think he's got to go for his own career.
Right. Yeah, I mean, again, I think that this is what we're setting up for, and I don't, I got to credit Jose as his ability to manipulate the press to some degree, because I think he's right. He's understanding that the fans will start to love Sandro before he's even here, and then if that's maybe one of the few transfers he could make now, that would make not the entire fan base turn on him. United are playing well, though, with the ball. Beautiful pass.
Good save. I think I was just actually putting a tweet out there, and I'll share my thoughts with everybody as well because I hadn't said this before I did the tweet because it was off my @Goldbridge account. That Fred already to me is looking like a player that could be a real asset. Really good close control, fast, tenacious. Exactly what we didn't have in our midfield last year. Again with Pereira, I just can't stop saying this. I mean, a few people are saying there, Fred with the skills. Fred is better than Messi, says Wes Saunders, but I think we've been really fortunate in some ways. I think Fred's going to be a good signing, but I think Pereira is almost like a new signing as well because and they're both exactly what we need. That look, I think about that midfield last year: Fellaini, Matic, McTominay, slow and tall, and then you've got these two lads coming in, Fred and Pereira, who are not tall but are quick across the ground, good on the ball, move the ball fast, and it's like, wow, we've got two. He's just got to use them.
I think people would be more excited if they weren't as nervous as they are about Mourinho. I think they just assume that he's going to have to force Fellaini in there, but until the season starts, I have this weird feeling that he's playing us all. and that in fact we're not gonna have third season syndrome. But that's where I've convinced myself, to be honest.
Yeah, you've got to live in hope, haven't you? You've got to live in hope.
I don't know. I'm trying. It's tough, but I'm trying. It's like surgery. Eventually, you just go in and get it. Yeah.
Ricky Rich says that Vinicius will destroy you. He is like Mbappe. Well, he's not done so far, so...
Nope. No, but he will. Mbappe's a whole nother story. What I wouldn't give to have him on this team.
Glennon says, are we playing an attacking style? I just think that the 3-5-2 used properly, and we didn't use it properly against Liverpool at all. We played very deep and we passed the ball back. And against this Real Madrid team, we look a different team to we did against Liverpool because we're pressing the ball, which is, again, not something Jose Mourinho did last season. So that is good to see. But Pereira, Herrera and Fred are a mid... The thing is, we've always had McTominay in that midfield three, and you can't press as a three if you've got a weak... The whole... In a very short sentence, pressing only works if you all do it together. And if you've got a weak link, in the press becomes ineffective. So Fred and Pereira can press, but if McTominay's slow, they'll just exploit that area. But the good thing about this midfield three is Herrera, Pereira, and Fred are all quite similar, and they all can press as a three with Mata and Sanchez as well. So it's working quite well, and they're having to work the ball a lot, Real Madrid. Whereas if McTominay was in there, they'd just focus on that area to move the ball through past him.
100%. And again, we don't have a lot of our players here. So you wonder if this is the team that could unlock the players on our real team. It's interesting. A guy like Pogba, Lukaku, even Lingard, Rashford. I mean, they're not back. Them in this team, we're not, they're... I don't know that we have the team to win the title. I really don't. I want to believe we do, but I can't get my head around it. But I don't believe it's going to be as bad as people think.
Well, if we played the 3-5-2, even if we didn't sign anybody, you could play Pogba, Fred, Matic, or Pogba, Fred, Pereira in the midfield three. You'd have Sanchez and Lukaku as your front two. You're obviously going to have Young and Valencia as your wing backs, and your back three you could have Lindelof, Bailly and Smalling. I mean, obviously you still need to add a couple of players to that, but Sanchez and Lukaku up front as a two with Pogba, Fred and Matic behind them is quite a good midfield.
Yeah.
But then it goes back to we're playing 3-5-2, which can be a really good formation, but if you're playing a 3-5-2, you've got to have wing backs who are naturally on that side and can cross. And Valencia and Young can't. So, again, you said it yourself, we're sort of flawed because we haven't solved the problem in a very important position, which is that left back position. I'm going to stretch my leg a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, again, you see, anyone who watches this team on a weekly basis can see the problems. So it's crazy that the board has not wanted to correct them. That, to me, is probably the most glaring situation. I can understand not buying 30-year-olds. I can understand fighting the manager on certain things. But it just doesn't add up that you wouldn't fix the biggest mistake and error in our team. That's what I can't understand. The left side is flawed. It is weak. When we come up against better teams, they're going to exploit the left side of the team, and they are going to break it down. And I just don't understand how they expect to put up with certain teams. Again, how are you going to stop Salah and consistently stop Sané and consistently stop these teams that, they're fast, they're quick. It's tough. And I'm interested to see. Beautiful pass offsides, but nice pass, nice idea.
There was a comment here from Adam Hanrahan who says, what about Dalot? Well, Dalot was purchased a season too early. If he can get anywhere near the first team this season, then he'll be excelling because he effectively should have been staying where he was for another year. But United pushed the deal through early because I think he wanted to come, or there was some competition for his signature, so United had to act early. But I don't expect to see him playing many games.
No.
And he's one for the future. So
Well, it's interesting you talk about these ones for the future, and I always credit other teams with the ability to identify talent that they want and say, we're signing this person next year and just do it. And that's what we should do with like a Pulisic, because I think Dortmund came out today and said, we don't want to sell him this year, but if he doesn't sign a new contract, they're going to sell him next summer. That's a direct thing for a team like us who has the money to just go in and just buy him. Just buy him in advance for 65 million pounds, give him the money right away, and just move on. And again, Pulisic would be incredible. He would be perfect in the team. He is 2-footed. He plays well. He can move around the field. He plays 5 different positions. Those are the type of players we need, but we don't go after them, and it's, you get stuck in the past.
Well, Dalot is probably a Rebelta.
Yeah.
The Javier Rebelta, who's now left, who we got from Juventus. He's probably a product of him. That's what he was there to do, but he has moved on now. Let's have a look at some of your live comments. How's Fred doing, says Sean McManus. Doing quite well. Fred needs these games. His fitness is bad, says Daniel Cotton. Yep, definitely. He needs to play 90 minutes tonight and hopefully against Bayern Munich at the weekend. Here's a question for Jared, if he knows. How do the Glazers run their American football side, which is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Is that baseball?
So, no, it's football. Hold on. Let me just Darmian crossing you. Oh, beautiful goal.
Is it Sanchez? Lovely. 1-0.
Yeah.
Well, ask a question about the Glazers again and they will deliver.
Yes.
Darmian down the right-hand side, cuts it back. Alexis Sanchez taps it home. Was just having a sip of water. Back of the net. There we go. 1-0.
Beautiful goal. And again, so the Glazers, I think the difference with football and, American football is that with American football, there is a salary cap and a minimum that you have to spend. There is absolutely you have to spend it. And the teams make money hand over fist. So the owners make money, but they have to put certain money in the salary cap, and no matter what, they have to spend it. The Buccaneers are also terrible, by the way, but that's a separate conversation. So in football here, there is no salary cap. You just can spend what you want and buy whoever you want. So just like Arsenal's owner, Kroenke, does the same thing. He owns the Rams. They're pretty good, but you have to spend a specific amount of money in our side of the country. Whereas in real football, you just buy whoever you want if you have the money to do it, like a Man City did. So I don't think it's a difficult comparison to make, but they're as shitty owners as they are for us.
We'll get back to the goal.
Beautiful.
Quite surprising to see Darmian shooting down that right-hand side, cuts it back, and Sanchez finishes well from a central position. So good from United. I think they're good for it. Thomas Cunningham says, was it a good goal? It sort of caught us by surprise a bit, but United have been well in this game. Let's not forget, Real Madrid, it's their first game of the pre-season. This is our 5th, isn't it? So our fitness levels are obviously going to be a lot better. We certainly look a lot better on the ball. We're moving the ball around a lot quicker, and then fitness levels, which Jose speaks about, are starting to come through. But we're well worth the goal. I think Benzema had a similar chance and put it wide, but Sanchez was more clinical in it. And that's something I wanted to talk about as well, because I wanted to get this across, and I'm glad this has happened, that when Jose Mourinho's spoken about I can't play Pogba, Lukaku and Fellaini against Leicester, I think this is what he's getting at, really, is that you look at the difference between Real Madrid and Manchester United, and the technique is there from Real Madrid, but the fitness won't be. Whereas United have been training for 2 or 3 weeks longer. And this is the problem with putting Paul Pogba, Lukaku, Fellaini or whoever in against Leicester. They probably will have only been training for 5 days with no match time at all, no pre-season game. So they're going to come into it cold. So I think that's what Jose's saying. I don't think it will be relevant to everybody, because some players can play cold. But ideally, it isn't ideal. In my eyes, Jones is better than Varane, says Harry Cohen. I'm better looking than Brad Pitt in your eyes, then. Trump supports Real Madrid. Come on, United, says Graham McIntosh. Sanchez is better as a striker, says Wes Sanders. I was looking out for that. I sort of thought a few people might say that. Streets Don't Lie says 250,000 subscribers. Congratulations. Yes. Remember, if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, you're very welcome. And we are live for every Manchester United game, doing watch-alongs. We're also live every day, a couple of times a day, with the latest Manchester United news. So make sure you subscribe and you get your notifications on.
Yeah.
Arsenal will beat Manchester United's Yusuf Hassan. Yeah, but you won't finish above us.
Yeah, don't be so sure about that. And again, it's nice to see De Gea back. I think it's overlooked, but somehow we kept him again. So more power to this team. I mean, I just think, again, things like that are unbelievably important. And De Gea could have left again. So I honestly feel if the Spanish Federation didn't fire, I can't pronounce the guy's name, but the new Madrid coach, that I think De Gea may have left, honestly.
It's been a weird summer, actually.
Very. I think I could see the Premier League reversing this transfer thing pretty quickly because it's a disaster. I just don't understand it, like how they started it in a World Cup year. It makes no sense.
Well, Jose, Manchester United were opposed to this shortened Premier League transfer window, and I think Manchester City were as well. And it has been a bloody disaster from a Premier League point of view. I mean, when you look at what Serie A are doing, Inter Milan are now being linked to Modric. They've still got another month of their window, and they've absolutely smashed it. But the Premier League clubs just seem unable to do any business. And I don't know whether that is because of the closure of the window, that teams around Europe are like, they've gotten by the balls, really. And it's like you either overpay or you don't get.
What?
Ryan H. Green says Jose could leave if he wins the title this season. He could win it. He might do it if he doesn't. And go on.
Sorry, if Jose Mourinho wins the title this year, he is the greatest manager since Ferguson. That is, I cannot. It's not going to happen. But if he manages to pull this off, it will be one of the greatest feats ever to win with this team, with this board, with the backing that he's had. It would be incredible. I just think you can't understate that. That's all.
Mini Mourner says, in every game I keep seeing Alexis Sanchez commanding the team, telling them what to do. If he continues, this is in the Premier League, give him the captaincy. We need a leader. There is Tenacious, whatever his name is.
Tenacious.
What's his name?
Vinicius.
He is very tenacious as well. Vinicius, JR, or VR.
Yeah,
he absolutely took Fosu to the cleaners there, to be honest.
He's 17, I think.
Oh, God. He did. He absolutely skinned him.
I didn't say he's close to Sir Alex Ferguson, but please do not get that twisted. I said since Ferguson. I am shocked at the quiet window for City, to be honest with you. I have to think something's coming from them. It doesn't add up.
I think they only wanted 2 players, though, to be fair. They've got Mahrez and they wanted a midfielder. And all Premier League clubs have been very, very quiet. Look at Spurs. I don't think Spurs have bought anybody. Chelsea have only got a week left and they've got a new manager. They've only got Jorginho. Liverpool have obviously done business, and as have Arsenal and West Ham and Everton. But Spurs, Chelsea, United, City, very quiet.
Well, it was I have a friend who's a Spurs fan, and he made a comment to me that actually was interesting. He's like, Pochettino is waiting for Martial, and he's willing to wait the window out with $100 million sitting there, and just saying, if we can get him, great, and if not, I want to push the number. I want to push the $100 million into next year and actually be able to rebuild the team around Kane and Ali and Eriksen and these other people. Because I think Pochettino was told, we can sell certain people on the team and give you a big number, or you can re-sign every player on this team. And I think, good for him. He manages to keep all of them.
I think Chelsea are another one, though, because they will sign people. But then Hazard's not gone. But Hazard could go. Martial and Hazard could go any time in August, because the Premier League transfer window is not the closure of the La Liga transfer window or the Serie A transfer window. But Chelsea are only going to let that happen if they've got someone else coming in. So I think Chelsea are going to do some business in the next week or so as well. More than 2 or 3 probably. But it's really weird transfer window, and the World Cup's not helped. And here we go. Mata's broken. God, that centre back must be really slow for Real Madrid, because Mata was pulling away.
Nice
Nice
play.
to Sanchez.
Nice.
What a goal! What a goal that was. Is it Herrera? What
Herrera.
a bloody goal. Smacking. Brilliant. Mata breaks the line. Hits it over to Sanchez, who lays it off for Herrera. That's a soccer goal for Manchester United.
Yeah,
That's how you play football. Very, very impressive 2-0.
I mean, we look really good. It's almost misleading, but we look really good.
I mean, yeah, I will keep saying it that this is Real Madrid first game of the season.
But that goal was beautiful. I mean, the header, the shot, perfect.
Just watching it back again, it's lovely. I mean, he must be a slow centre-back because Mata's pulling away from him. But the cross to Sanchez, who lays it down, and Herrera absolutely smashes it home. Lovely goal. And again, he's another player on this World Tour, US Tour, who's been really, really impressive for Manchester United. Herrera. After a poor season last season, he's been really, really good. And the more options we've got in the midfield, the better.
100%. I think the ability for Jose to switch up the team is important for him. And I think the more midfielders that make it difficult for Fellaini to become a starter and more of a sub is pretty important for us to have.
Well, you can't score those sort of goals with Fellaini in the team for a start, but those sort of goals are exactly what Manchester United are about. And we're in this situation, half an hour into it, 2-0 up against Real Madrid. You know.
I mean, beautiful game so far. I mean,
and it's confidence, Jared. That's the thing, isn't it? And everybody at home, it's confidence that matters. Because, yeah, people will say, oh, it's a poor Real Madrid team. But it was a poor Manchester United team that Liverpool smashed. And it doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but what it does mean for those people on that pitch is confidence, isn't it? And it's confidence around the club, and fans are fickle. You know, I'm fickle as a fan as well. So if we can produce this sort of football as well, it just gives us something. And the most important thing is, as you were saying there, Jared, is the midfield. The midfield was the problem for me last season, and having many options in the midfield when you consider Matic, Pogba, Fellaini have not been on this tour, but Herrera, Pereira, Fred have, and they're doing well. Well, that's 6 midfielders. That's more than enough for a Premier League season.
100%. And each one does something different. So it's interesting to see what he can do, what he can put together with the team, but he has options. And again, I don't like Fellaini as a starter. Nobody except for Marcus likes Fellaini as a starter. But I will say this, Fellaini as a sub, I can't knock it at all. He gives us a long ball threat, which if you're trying to break down a team could be great. So maybe we'll get lucky, and these midfielders will make it tough to start.
It's Real Madrid, and that looked miles offside to me, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Good defending by...
Did they have VAR in the preseason?
Jeff Doherty says Glazers should either fully back Jose or sack him.
They won't do either, so that's okay.
The thing is, look, nothing, whether you're Mourinho in or Mourinho out, pre-season was never going to be anything other than Mourinho walking, and he's not going to do that. But certainly the results don't matter. The results have almost instantly been forgotten because of the way Jose Mourinho's acted in the press conferences after it. I predicted even before this result that Mourinho would be positive after this game, even if we lost 4-2 to Real Madrid. I still think he'd be positive because he knows he's going back to Manchester. And I don't mean that disrespectfully to the US Tour, because I love the US Tour.
It's all right, we get it.
Look forward to it every year. But Mourinho clearly hasn't. And I think he can't wait to get away.
Yeah, I mean, I think he wanted to find some people who can start. I think he wanted to see how people are going to perform under pressure. I actually believe that he created some of the environment around the club to see how certain players can work under stress. And again, I think he's... Oh, nice shot. I think that people like Pereira coming out of this tour stronger and Bailly coming out of this tour stronger is a really big deal for this team.
Siddharth Bossi says, what are our chances next season if Sanchez starts firing like at Arsenal? This is a good point, because I've tried to speak about this. Mark, would you like to see... who would I like to see as manager if Mourinho leaves? Says Hussy Pussy. I would say probably Zidane, to be honest with you, but I'll ask Jared that as well. But first of all, just want to say, in relation to that question that was asked there, what happens if Sanchez starts firing this season? What happens if Paul Pogba starts firing this season as well? What happens if the midfield sort out its problem this season as well? Suddenly we're a team that finished second with a misfiring Sanchez, a poor Pogba, and an atrocious midfield. You'd expect improvement. And I don't think we can make 20 points improvement, but I certainly don't get why people think we're not going to finish in the top four. For me, I firmly believe that we're going to finish in the top four next season, Jared, but I also think that it's not enough. I think we've got to win the title this year, and that's what's frustrated me about the transfer window, is we've just done nothing, nowhere near enough to make us title contenders. But I don't think we're going to have any problem finishing in the top four because we've got some very good players.
I think the other thing people have to remember is City are not getting 100 points again. There is no shot. It's never happened before, and it's not happening next season. So
I just think... I tell you what, it's a good point there, just to jump in, because West Ham, Everton and Wolves, that's 3 teams out of the top 6 who are better. And that was the problem last season, is that below the top 4, because Arsenal were crap as well, every team was pretty much easy 3 points for City, apart from when they played the top 4. But this year already, West Ham are better, Everton are better, Wolves are a decent team coming up. So that's 3, definitely, added to the top 5. So that's 8 teams that are going to put up a fight.
Yeah, I think City had these games where, like a title contender, like a title winner will do, they won games in the 97th minute. They got extra time. I remember they won a game with 7 minutes in extra time, and they only had 4. Like, these things aren't happening next season. So I think if you take 10 points off of City, then it's a 10-point gap. And then if we don't drop games like Newcastle and Brighton, then it's a 6-point gap. If we beat City once when they were at Old Trafford, it's another swing, and then we're even. So the question really is City going to fall off enough that we can raise our game enough to overtake them?
Jarrett G says you can't win a title when your manager is fed up with the board, the team and the supporters. Well, you're right there, Jarrett. It's we're in for an interesting few weeks because Jose Mourinho has to give a press conference at least once a week, and is it going to improve? Is his mood going to improve? He's got some big issues to sort out. I know he's going to be happy to be on the plane, but he's got a big week ahead of him. He's got a big week in relation to whether we get any transfer business done. He's got a big week in relation to what he's going to do about Anthony Martial. So, very interesting week to come. It's always an interesting time at Manchester United anyway. But, intrigued to see what's going to happen there.
Yeah, I think we all just want some excitement. Is that too much to ask? Like, we want to look forward to something. We want to see our team do well. And I think it's been a tough window for United fans. More than any other team, I think it's been tough. So
I'm just glad the World Cup happened, actually, because I think about that 5 or 6 weeks when the World Cup was on and it sort of took your attention away. Imagine if that hadn't happened and we'd had that 5 or 6 weeks waiting for signings that were clearly never going to come.
Yeah. I just read a comment. Jared has way too much faith in Mourinho and way too positive. We're not winning anything with the playing style. I'm not disagreeing with that statement. I actually just think that you have to look at this in a game like today, and if we play like this, that we can beat any team. So the question really is are we going to play exciting football, be clinical with to finish, have Sanchez switch on, or are we going to be a team like last year that's grinding out results and is content with second? So I think Mourinho's playing style, if it doesn't change, it's very tough. It's very tough to win anything major.
The initial topic says, wow, look at us not bottling it against Madrid. To be honest with you, I think the to understand the contrast is to look at why. And I think it's just one player that's made us better, is that McTominay not being in the midfield means you've got 3 midfielders who are quick and tenacious, able to chase the ball down, and then you've got Mata and Sanchez who actually get some decent ball from them. Whereas against Liverpool, we were so static and slow and Liverpool swarmed all over us. But I must just say, it's great to be 2-0 up. It's great to see some of the performances that are going on out there. And it's all about positivity and building in the pre-season. But this is Real Madrid's first game and their fitness levels are obviously not going to be anywhere near us.
You know what? again, I agree with it 100%, and I keep seeing the comment in that like this is Madrid's first preseason game. But let me give you the alternative sentence where like, what if Madrid were just crushing us, and then we were miserable? So you know what? I credit the team for playing the way that they are against Madrid.
And also, we are playing games every 2.5 days, so it's not like we're at peak fitness either.
Yeah, it's not. Look, I'll knock the club when they deserve it, but in a game like this, Sanchez has scored.
I presume we'll see a different Madrid in the second half anyway, and I presume we'll see a lot of the players that we know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, it's also exciting to see Madrid's youth because we've always said they probably have one of the best youth systems on earth, and these are the chances where you get to see them play. So it's interesting, And for us, again, when we're clinical, we're difficult to beat.
United have always, under Jose Mourinho, United have always been a chameleon anyway, haven't they? We can go to Manchester City, be 2-0 down at half time. They're going to be they're going to win the title, and we come out in 45 minutes and we're 3-2 winners. The following week, we're at home to West Brom and we lose 1-0.
Oh.
That's Manchester United under Jose Mourinho, especially, is that we are a bit of a chameleon. I mean, Bio20 says, let's be honest, this is Real Madrid's C team, but it's not really. It's not like it's United's A team, is it? It's certainly not.
No.
So.
We don't have Pogba. We don't have Lukaku. We don't have Matic. We don't have Smalling here. We don't have Jones here. Not saying that Smalling and Jones are unbelievable.
Lingard,
I'm just
Rashford.
saying. Right. I mean, there's a lot of people missing. Martial's not here. Not like he's in Jose's B team or A team, but still, we're playing a makeshift team anyway. And the 2 goals that we scored were great goals. Team goals. So I can't complain. I mean, the way that we're playing today, I think I would be excited to see him play like this. I get it. Dan Murray said Jose won't ever change. And it's so frustrating because in the back of my head, I know it. But until he doesn't change, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. Other people want a toxic atmosphere at this club that aren't fans of the club. So we shouldn't give it to them.
No, I agree. I think I've said it a few times throughout the summer, and I think it's inevitable that we're going to have to wait and see, and patience is required, but we're going to have to wait and see where we are in October. We normally start the season very well under Jose Mourinho. In fact, the last 2 seasons he's won his first 3 games in the first year, first 4 in the second year, so we can expect that. And if he does that, great. The problem will be if he doesn't do that, Jared, because his first 2 years, he's won the first 3 games. And if he didn't do that this year, after the summer we've had, then I think people would be a little bit jumping all over him, to be honest. But it's how long we can be in a title race. The sooner we're out of a title race, the quicker he'll be in trouble.
You said I think it was yesterday, you made the comment, Mourinho, the first time something goes wrong, it could go really wrong, and like that could be it. I think that if he plays good football and gets going the right way, he has an argument. But I do think that if the wheels start to fall off in the beginning, this better not be real injury, by the way.
I think it's just fatigue. I mean, Eric Bay's down here at the moment, and he's got
I think
some
someone
sort of
needs him in the nuts, honestly. So I don't know that it's a real injury as much as his balls hurt.
I was surprised to see him playing anyway, because Mourinho was saying that he played injured on Saturday. His ankle was up like a football after the game. But
by grabbing his plums, it's funny. Yeah, I mean, but we Jose's a chameleon. It's tough, but that Leicester game is huge, and like again, I'm not unhappy we lost the FA Cup final. I am not unhappy that Jose couldn't mask what happened last year with a fake trophy. I want titles that mean the Champions League or the Premier League title and nothing else. I don't want him to be able to say, well, I've won a trophy every year. I don't care. So I feel that like this year he has more pressure on him because he didn't bring home silverware last year. And I think he needs major silverware to keep the job. And if this is a real injury for Bailly, then you expect to see Harry Maguire very quickly.
Yeah, We don't need that. He's a bit of a Phil Jones, Eric Bailly there. Let's be honest. Phil Jones gets a lot of stick about injuries, but Bailly is injured a lot.
Yeah, it's unfortunate too because his first season was like a revelation. He was unbelievable. And I don't know what happened. Injuries have really thrown him off.
I think it's just his style. It's a bit like Phil Jones. It's a bit unorthodox, isn't it? He throws his body around all the time, and that can lead to strains and nicks. And
yeah. Here we go.
I think he's looking like he might come back on, but personally, I would just take him off because
Agree.
There's no risk. There's no point.
No.
Kavim says, Mark, do you think it's possible we play Matic at centre-back and a midfield three of Pogba, Fred and Pereira? I've heard this a few times. I'll get Jared's thought on it as well. I mean, I don't know where... I never liked Carrick playing as centre-back, even though he could do it. I like centre-backs to play centre-back. I don't want Matic just playing as a centre-back, but I've heard it a few times, Jared, especially in the last couple of days. So I don't know whether it's been mentioned by anybody, but...
I don't see it, but, if he had to, I think he could. But, I mean, he couldn't play it against, like, a real team. Like the top 6 teams, I wouldn't touch him there. But, like a Brighton, these teams we should be smashing. Sure. If someone needs a break or they don't want to play Bailly every game, sure.
I think this is the thing about the Glazers, though, again, isn't it? We're Manchester United. Why would we play a centre defensive midfielder at left back when we should just be going out and getting... centre-back, when we should be just going out and buying the people. I think at the end of the day, Valencia and Young are only our fullbacks because we got into that position where we started using wingers at fullback because we didn't go out and buy fullbacks. And, you can argue one way or another about whether that's a good or a bad thing. Some people think Valencia and Young are good, some people think they're rubbish. But the reality is, they're playing in them positions as ex-wingers because it was a cost-saving thing. And this is from the richest club in the world.
You think back to Pep's first season. And his first season, he identified that probably in the Premier League, the most important thing is the ability to cross the ball and play from the back. And he immediately spent, 200 million on the defense alone?
Mm.
He knew exactly what to fix. The fact that we do not take at least an air of arrogance with that he put up 100 points because his wingbacks were better, because his defense was secure, and thus they could be confident and move forward and play forward. We need the same thing. We shouldn't be makeshifting people into positions with the team that we are. We're not an international team. We have the money to fix these problems.
Definitely, but we don't. We make do and we rotate and.
Well, I mean, our owners are absolute horrible rodent humans. They take the money from the club, they sap it dry, they take dividends out every 3 months, and then they spend what they want. Like you said, to get top 4, to pad the pockets, and move on. Beautiful passing.
This could be a goal again. Good cross. Good header cleared.
Nice.
There's a chance. Just right on half time. Yeah, I'm interested to see what Real Madrid do in the second half because this is considered to be their reserves. You've got people like Toni Kroos who are definitely on the bench.
Right. Oh, what I wouldn't do to give Kroos in this team. Shut up, Jared. He spent 1.5 years sorting the defense. He spent 1 year sorting the defense and then bought a new defense and figured it out. But he identified Mendy. He identified Kyle Walker. And that was a major reason why they didn't lose points. So it's something to consider.
Hit it. Oh. Blocked. Herrera. So we're in the 45th minute. I think he'll probably blow in a minute.
No, like 4 minutes.
Oh.
That makes no sense.
Makes no sense at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Let's blame Borm again to take limelight away from Jose. Jose will have to win the league or he won't be here. I really believe that. I think the fans would force him out. So, either he wins or he's out. That's it. Plus, it'll be toxic atmosphere. He's not going to win it, and thus he'll be out before the end of the season. So if Jose's still here next year, things are going well.
Good play by Pereira. I think Pereira and Fred have been very tidy.
Mm-hmm.
Midfield has certainly given United the platform in this game to express themselves further forward, and United have certainly had their more than held their own. Which, again, people say, well, it's Real Madrid C team or anything like that, but how often do Manchester United hold their own technically against teams? Let's not forget Sevilla, are not a very good La Liga team who over 2 legs absolutely played us off the park. So we don't always see United against a good footballing team, which, all right, there might be reserves, but they still can knock the ball about. And United have given more than they've got.
Yeah, I mean, and again, Sevilla's 8.
Luke Shaw still looks big, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yes. I realize I don't like calling people, Look, Shaw. What is there to say, right? Sometimes you just look fat in the picture. It is what it is.
No, I think he is big, and I think the reason I say that is because there's just no way in a million years he's been popping off down the supermart, getting Twinkies or anything like that. He's obviously been training for the last 3 weeks, but he's just somebody who's a big guy, and that's why people shouldn't be having a pop at him about it, because there's no way he's not been training intensely for the last month, but he still looks quite big. It's just his body mass, isn't it?
Well, you got to also think that Mourinho wouldn't even be entertaining playing him if he wasn't training or doing things right. So, nice cross.
Goal.
Beautiful
Lovely goal as well. Good goal that was. Benzema, God, it must have been easy.
Ooh. Beautiful
to be fair,
goal.
though, I don't know whether somebody should be cutting this cross out, but
yeah, I mean, nice play.
Well, it's been an entertaining game.
Yeah, of course, 2-1. It's not 0-0.
So the cross comes in. Yeah, he gets ahead of Bay. It's not great by Bay. But that's probably to do with fatigue and injury. Poor defensive goal to concede.
Oh, and here we go. Beautiful.
I think Fosu Mendes' positioning isn't great either. 2-1 anyway. 2-1.
2-1.
Three goals.
Yeah, nice half.
And that is half time, I think. Yeah. So, give us your thoughts on the half, Jared.
I was very happy with the way we played. I get it's Madrid C team, but we're not losing, we're winning. The goals were beautiful. I'll take it. Absolutely. I think Sanchez played extremely well.
I certainly think that Sanchez on this US tour has been a lot better than he was last season. I don't think it's solely to do with the fact that he's had a break and he's come back motivated. I think that helps. But I also think a lot of it's to do with he's not stuck out on that left wing, wandering around frustrated, trying to get involved in things. He's actually got a purpose and he's got a position and he's the focal point of the team. Jeff Dougherty says, Glazers worse than you know. Took loans in their name to purchase MUFC stock and used MUFC assets as security for the loans. Wouldn't be surprised. Mourinho is a crying baby. He has to deliver given the money he has invested, says James Moose. Luke Shaw looks like he has a natural rugby body, says Kamara Guy. Is there a 15-minute break? I don't know how long they have a break, Jared. I think it's 10, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's 10. We'll be here.
Did Scott McTominay play well at left centre-back, says Daniel Wilson? Well, to be fair, he's playing in a back three with playing against one player, so he's not going to get exploited. The goal certainly wasn't his fault. It was Bay's fault, who looks like he's always, on the verge of getting injured. I don't even think he should be on the pitch, to be honest. Benzema couldn't miss, but I prefer to talk about the United goals, and really good goals by Manchester United, both of them really. Darmian cutting it back for Sanchez to smash it home, And then the second goal for United was fantastic. Nice ball over the top. Mata gets away from his centre-back, chips it into the box. Sanchez heads it down into the path of Herrera, who smashes it home. And it's a Manchester United goal. It's fast, it's on the break, it's stretching teams. And I think that midfield three, for me, Pereira, Herrera and Fred, is what Manchester United needs to be about if it's going to try to at least go for a title, but more importantly, entertain the fans, because it's quick, it's tenacious, it's moving the ball, it's pressing, as opposed to, at times last season, we had a midfield three of Matic, McTominay and Fellaini, which is just static and slow. So I think that midfield has been the platform for us, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, they've set up the right way. They're playing fast. They're not slow. I'm happy with them. I mean, again, you 2-1 against, it's preseason, right? But the way that we've played and the way that we've finished, you got to be happy.
Yeah. Fred needs more off the ball, says Kartik. Jose out, but who do we get in place, says Sola. I mean, he's not going anywhere. He ain't going anywhere. Not at the moment.
No.
A good point here from JXW Oblivion. He says, I hope we play this formation next season. Yes, I mean, that was the big positive for me, that although it's a bit odd to have Scott McTominay playing as a left centre-back, we are playing this 3-5-2 quite regularly now. And I think that is a real positive. Although the formation to my right wasn't a 3-5-2, because I don't think any of us predicted McTominay was going to play as a left centre-back. We have played it for the last 3 games. It doesn't mean we're going to play it in the new season. This has happened before with United, where they play a certain formation, and I think it was actually last year on the US tour we played 3-5-2 a lot. We all really liked it, then we didn't see it again till November. So it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to use it. I think if we go back to the 4-3-3, that's when we go back to the Mourinho not going to press, static football. So I want to see the 3-5-2. But I think we were sort of saying that in the first half, Jared. The problem with the 3-5-2 is that in the Premier League and the Champions League, there are issues with that 3-5-2 because we haven't got enough centre-backs for the 3, and we haven't got sufficient wing-backs, especially down the left-hand side, to be to provide the width that you need in that sort of a formation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with how we played. And I really think Pogba's going to have a season. I do. I think these guys are going to come back ready to go. So,
let's have a look what people are saying. Can't wait to add Pogba to the squad, says Jovan. Well, we've got Pogba back, we've got Lukaku back, we've got Lingard to come back. Lindelof's obviously back now. There's not actually that many to come back really now. I say Martial. What do you think is going to happen with Martial, Jared, actually, while we run half-time? That was one thing I did want to ask you. How do you think this is going to get resolved? You think he's going to stay?
Yeah. I want to believe that we wouldn't sell him to a direct rival. But if he makes it out of the Premier League window, I think the exciting thing would be that they'll never just sell him for money at that point. So who would we get for him in a transfer is kind of the question. You know, like they wouldn't get away with our transfer window being closed, right? But we can't take anyone in, so I just don't see them selling him for cash. It just doesn't add up. They would actually walk out of this window not having spent any money.
There's a lot of people in the live comments saying he's going to stay, and Marcus was on before you, and he said it as well. But I just don't see how. I mean, I don't think the relationship was great anyway. But then you go home to the birth of your child, you put the telly on, and your manager's basically saying you shouldn't be there, you should be here, and I just think the respect's gone, and I think it's probably gone from both sides as well. I just don't see how it's reconcilable. It almost needs them both being sat in a room by a neutral person and sorting it out. And I don't know whether United has the right sort of person to do that, but maybe.
No, but like maybe that's where Carrick and McKenna could come in. Maybe Jose doesn't need a relationship with Martial. Maybe that's the job of the people under him. I don't know.
But from Martial's point, obviously, I think Jose, all he can offer him, a bit like Rashford, is bench time. And this is why Martial didn't go to the World Cup, because he ended up on the bench at United. So I think Martial probably wants to get away.
Sure, I want a lot of things in life. You don't always get them.
Exactly what
So,
Jose said, isn't it?
it's tough. It's like I respect him for wanting out and furthering his career, but leave at the end of your contract then. But then he'll be worth substantially less, and it doesn't work. I think United right now are in the power position. I think next summer they would still be in a position of power. They would be in a lesser position than they are now, but it's not like they have no power. They can still keep him.
Yeah, because
You
we
know,
can
so
get a year on, can't we?
right, and let's just say Jose's gone after next year, and we bring in a manager like a Nagelsmann, or a Zidane, someone who sees the potential in a young player and grows them. I don't see why he wouldn't stay. The fans will always love him, so I would never sell him unless you got like $150 million for him and somebody saw him as like the future of their team. Sure, but why would you sell him for anything less? We paid 87 million pounds for him or something after all the add-ons. So
It's like Chelsea, isn't it? I think at the end of the season, it was, Willian wanted to go, Hazard wanted to go, Courtois wanted to go, Kante was thinking about going. Then this new manager's come in, and I wouldn't be surprised if none of those players go when it looked highly likely that they were all going to go. And not only that, they may well be happy under this new manager and do a typical Chelsea, really. Bad season, good season. So the transfer windows always start off with, it's going to be the biggest transfer window ever. This is going to happen. This is going to be a domino effect. And then a lot of the times it suddenly closes and you go, wow, not as much happened as I thought it was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we all came in excited but nervous. I think now we're just upset and nervous. I think people want more to happen. They're nervous about what could happen if more happens. What are we going to have to get rid of to bring more people in to make us happy? And I think everyone knows who the person is, and I don't think anyone wants that to happen. I don't. I mean, Jose's trying, but I don't think it's working getting people to turn on him. I actually think it's backfiring pretty poorly on him.
I think some aspects of what Mourinho has said over the last few weeks has been good, especially around transfers. But I think then some of the other things like, slating Valencia and Martial and his negativity about, I wouldn't bother going to the games and stuff like that, we're ill-advised. But, nobody's perfect. And Jose certainly put his foot in his mouth quite a few times recently. On a positive note, Paul Robinson says that Fred looks great, always head up, no options. Our movement without the ball looks lazy. Fred will tear you apart again, to C1. And Mark, I'm frustrated how every time De Gea just smashed the ball only to the striker. Why can't we play short passes and build play from the back, says Neil04. And that was something that Van Gaal wanted to do. I don't think it's really a Mourinho thing. And Vinicius Jr. just came off playing a full season at Flamengo. He's the only fresh, fit player at Madrid, and he's 19, says Josh Anthony. Why can't we keep possession at the back, says Kyle Barrett. Well, we haven't really got players to do that, have we? Clements Davis is where are Lingard and Rashford? Apparently they are there. I haven't really looked at the attendance to see whether it's anywhere near full. I know it was very empty before kickoff.
It's not. I don't see how they would have sold out the stadium because it's a pretty big one. But I've seen Lingard on Instagram in Miami with Rashford, so I assume they're joining up now. Right after this, I would assume they join up with the team. I think that Lingard will be back pretty quickly. I think Mourinho's golden boy cannot be sitting out too long.
I think you want to be back as well. I think unless you're somebody who is absolutely guaranteed walking into the team, you would want to get back because you'd be like, you know what? I know he's moaning about not having the players, but if any of these players do quite well, it leaves me in a difficult position, doesn't it? So they'll want to be back.
Yeah.
Joe Condon says, my pals are Chelsea. They all say Jose's uninterested. I can't argue with that.
I've heard that. I think Chelsea's in for a fun year, honestly. I followed Napoli last season, and Sarri's a fun coach to watch. Plus, he's a degenerative cigarette smoker on the sidelines. It's hilarious. just smokes packs of cigarettes.
Sarri ball, that's what they call it, isn't it? He's another one who presses high up the pitch, moves the ball quickly, so it's another team that's going to play good football whilst we're grinding out results.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Atherton says there's 70,000 fans at the game. What would the capacity be then?
Nice. The capacity's a little more.
Interested to see what Madrid bring on in the second half, because I don't think we'll bring a lot on. They obviously do have a 15-minute half-time. God knows why. It's only bloody pre-season, for God's sake. Jose won't quit as he wants a payout, says James H. Jose's fooling the press, says Jovan Luchman. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what Mourinho says after the game.
I'm sure he'll be missile. He's not. I haven't seen him very happy after any of the games, right? So his press conferences have been pretty interesting. They've created a lot of conversation afterwards, which is nice.
Apparently, capacity is almost 105,000, says Ollie Simmons. So, yeah, 70,000 in 105,000 would still look quite empty, to be fair.
Right. 6,000 watching. What a pleasure to have everyone with us.
Nabil says Liverpool would fill that stadium. They always do wherever they travel. Shame they don't fill the trophy cabinet, innit? Mr. Ferrari M1 says, Mr. Ferrari M1 says, what do you think of Rojo leaving, Jared?
You know what? Necessary evil. Goodbye. Whatever.
It's a shame it's not Phil Jones, though, isn't it?
Sure, but, to come. Plus, maybe they tried. Maybe they tried to get rid of Jones, and they just couldn't. Maybe nobody wants him. So, I don't know. I mean, you also have to remember we put people on pretty high salaries, so it's very difficult for people to afford them. That's why we couldn't sell. I think Wolves wanted Rojo for $30 million, but they couldn't afford the wages.
Yeah. Who is playing CDM, says Paul Robinson? Andres Pereira.
Yeah, and he's been excited about that role. If anyone doesn't know, look up his quotes, what he said about the number 6.
Yeah, he said that's his position now, didn't he, as well?
And, in the beginning of the preseason, he's like that. I play many positions. He never said he would be a number 6. After the first game, he said the boss wants you playing at number 6, and he said it again now. That's what Mourinho wants. I truly believe that Pereira is becoming a Mourinho player. So, good for him. I hope he starts every game. I know he won't, but I'm just saying. He looks awesome. Youth, we're happy. I think people love him. He'd be a great player to watch this season.
He's just got to trust him, hasn't he, really? Because Matic played a lot of football last season. Then he went to a World Cup, and he's currently injured. I think it's an opportunity for Pereira. I think when Matic is fit, Jose's always going to play Matic, but Pereira can only keep knocking on the door. And I must admit, when the pre-season started in the US, I was a little bit concerned about Pereira playing CDM, because it's like, why is he playing there? He's better further forward. He's got no chance of dislodging Matic. And the fact that we're coming out of this tour saying, he should be playing ahead of Matic, just shows what the tour can be if you grasp it. All the negativity floating around, but if you do grasp the opportunity, anything's possible. And I think people like Luke Shaw probably haven't grasped it well enough. I think when Young's fit again, Young's the first choice left back, but Luke Shaw has played 3 games, and I think he could have done a bit better. I don't think he's been terrible, but I think he could have been really good and really grabbing the opportunity. United players coming out, same 11 again. Mata, Bay, Fosu, Shaw, yeah.
I think they're showing.
Or Romero's back fit as well, so we've got 4 keepers here.
Oh. And Gomez looks so small.
Yeah.
It's the carrot. It's like his kid.
He is.
Correct, Luke Johnson.
Real Madrid.
Yeah. I mean, last year we played them. What was that cup again? The Super Cup we played them?
Yeah, I think we played them in America, didn't we? And then we played them in...
Right.
Well, we beat Man City pre-season, didn't we? In the America, because Lukaku scored. It was a ball over the top. So pre-season means
Yep.
nothing. I mean, the way Liverpool fans reacted to that 4-1 win, bloody hell.
Let them have it. Until they win a real trophy, it doesn't matter. But good window. I'll give them that.
They've actually printed T-shirts at Liverpool. I saw it the other day, and I couldn't help taking the mickey out of it. They have printed T-shirts of Shaqiri's overhead kick.
Well, is it now?
Unbelievable.
It's the club or it's these random? It's like a fan thing. It's got to be a fan thing, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's not the club. It's like a
Yeah.
Liverpool account. But Real Madrid seem to have gone even. I don't know whether they've made any changes yet. Actually, they look pretty much the same themselves.
Yeah, it's I don't expect them to make a ton of changes, but I was hoping that I would see certain people. I'm excited about Pereira. I was nervous he was out the door. He is not going anywhere. Good. Very good.
Well, Asensio should be here, shouldn't he? Isco is there.
Asensio's going to have to play.
Yeah, Carvajal.
It will be funny, though, if Liverpool have like a less than expected season for the fan base, and then you can just tear into them for another season. As expected.
God, must be the longest half time ever. It's a bloody joke.
This is
about half an hour.
This is an interesting comment. I mean, this by Jack. An interesting super chat.
We're looking for a wing back. Bayern are interested in Martial. Why can't we do a straight swap Martial for Kimmich? Yeah, well, why would Bayern want to do that though? You know,
correct.
I think those sort of deals are great in theory, but it's a bit like why. It always makes me laugh when we get linked to Varane. Why would Real Madrid ever give us Varane, and why would Varane leave 3 times Champions League winners Real Madrid to come to Manchester United? I mean, you'd have to be a really dedicated Manchester United fan who's always dreamed of playing here and wants to get us back to the top. And I don't think Varane is that. It's just not going to happen. Anyway, the second half has kicked off. We finally kicked off because that was a long break. So
long break. Yeah, I mean, you got to remember too. Varane was given his start by Mourinho, right? So I think that was always the logic. The press can make more of it than it is, but
yeah.
You know. Oh, there were some subs, actually. Just don't know who. There were guys holding up numbers.
Should be able to find out.
Yeah, Kimmich is really good, though. I mean, he would be unbelievable, but there's no way in hell they would sell him. Nice play. Nice passing by Madrid.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because we did an okay half against Liverpool at the weekend, and then, as Mourinho said, after 60 minutes, the petrol ran out, and we were shocking. So let's see what happens in the second half of this game.
Mm-hmm. Odegaard is playing. Borja Mayoral is playing. Both people to keep an eye on. Someone just went down. No. You can never tell with people on Madrid if it's a real injury or if they're just diving.
We give up a lot of space. Bale backed by new coach, says Jovan. Yeah, well, Bale to Manchester United. I mean, did anyone really ever think it was going to happen?
It was probably like a week-long window where it was possible. You know, where like right after the Champions League, you started to think that it could happen. And then Ronaldo came out, and then that actually gained steam, and you knew it was over. One of them was leaving. It was highly unlikely both were.
And it's I still sit here in amazement that Ronaldo's left Real Madrid and that Manchester United were never in for him.
I'm actually starting to think that maybe Mendes related more than anyone else. Mendes is Ronaldo's agent, and he's also Mourinho's agent, and you start to wonder if like the atmosphere was so toxic. Mendes is like, you're not going there. We're not dealing with this. Just go to Juventus and you're going to come out positively.
You're gonna win.
Why ruin a leg?
You're going to win the league. You might win a Champions League.
Right. I mean, you become a hero if you win Juve the Champions League, and at United, what more can he do for us? He's already a legend and a hero. Can only tarnish it. Not to say that we wouldn't love every second of watching him, but for his own sake and his own brand, I get it. And I don't even fault him for it.
Play Pereira again. It's 7 a.m. in India, says Kunal. Good morning, pal.
Yes, good morning.
Timer's up and running now. It is. Sorry, it was running. I just forgot to click it to show it for you lot. Please do subscribe if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with the United Stand. We are live every day, a couple of times a day. UK evening time and normally in the morning. Although tomorrow we won't have a transfer daily at 7 a.m. because that is literally in about 4 hours' time. And we've still got to do the match reaction as well. So transfer daily will be a little bit later.
Mark needs to sleep 2 hours.
Yeah. But to be honest, just on transfer news, I'd normally have prepped a lot, and then you just see what other stuff happens when I wake up. But there's nothing. You're not missing out on not having a transfer daily tomorrow. There is nothing to report. Yerry Mina, which we've discussed, whether it's true or not, but it does alarm me, Jared, that we basically have a week left of this transfer window. A lot of people are saying we need at least 2 signings. And we're linked to nobody really. I mean, you can sort of guess that maybe Alderweireld and Maguire, and it's all about negotiations. But with Willian saying at Chelsea, I can't think of another right midfielder that we'll be in for. Unless, I mean, the worst thing we could do is sign Mina and Ribic. You've had a good World Cup, so let's sign you.
I kind of think that maybe people know United are interested in someone. And they think they have us by the balls. So you think like Levy's sitting there being like, Mourinho only wants Alderweireld, so there's no way we're going to just make this easy for him. So we go after Mina, even if it's fake interest. I think the same thing with Willian. It makes sense. Put up a smokescreen, pretend you're interested in people who could potentially replace them, and then get a number from the club. Because for Chelsea's sake, oh my God, what a save.
Was that from Bale? Is Bale still on?
No, he came off.
Yeah. Imrano TV says, why is Bayern not listed in the upcoming fixtures? Has it been cancelled? That's Draughty Devil. I always put it on. He's redone the graphics and he's not put the Bayern Munich game. It is happening on Sunday, yes. Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Sunday night at 7 o'clock. Well spotted.
Nice work. Ryan, he's in talks with
Mickey Simic says, love seeing Pereira and Fosu Mensah in the team. Also a great chance for Shaw to establish himself if we don't buy left back. Martial and Mourinho both seem like the same type of personality, possibly why they clash, stubborn and arrogant. See, I don't think they're very similar at all. I think it's a myth about Martial being arrogant. I think he's just quite a quiet lad and needs an arm around his shoulder, and Mourinho has said himself that that's not how he manages. So, and also, as I said before, I think Mourinho has come into the club and systematically wanted to eradicate every single Van Gaal signing, and with Rojo and Martial gone, the only one left will be Romero, which is a lot of players to get rid of because you think about how many people he actually signed. Van Gaal.
They were not great signings, and people always said Martial wasn't even his signing; it was Giggs. So I get it. I get wanting to purge the Van Gaal theory out of this club.
Abu says, how's Fred playing? He's done well. I mean, his fitness levels are obviously not going to be great. He's not even been training for a week yet. But Real Madrid end down the right here. Luke Shaw not able to get back in time.
No. Nice pass.
Left back already, please, says Mini.
Yeah. Yes, General. We're still in July in the States. August by you. Happy August to everyone in Europe.
So what time is it where you are? About 9 o'clock?
Yeah, 9:30.
Yeah.
Not bad. But we get the 7 a.m. games during the real season. So I'd swap with you guys.
Yeah, when it's a lunchtime game. So yeah, you get 3 p.m. games. There'll be 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, most of the games are at 10. There's always one at 7 and one at 12:30. That's national coverage.
Yeah. Well, Real Madrid are dictating the play at the moment. United have gone into their shell second half. Another thing we said in the first half is that United are very much like a chameleon. They adapt to whoever they're playing. They're also a one-half team. We never play well for two halves.
No. That team that came out, that City game, you think back to it, that's the team we need. That second half team. If you get that mentality, they can beat anybody. Anybody. And if Pogba plays well, there really is no limits to what the team can do. It's just when we play halves differently, it's very difficult to keep sustainable results up.
OF says, Fred, another sideways passer, can't pass forward. He definitely can. He's probably not doing it because, one, he's been told to do it, or two, the pass isn't there to play it.
The first one's probably more likely. Very compact.
We are sort of parking the bus now, aren't we? Playing very deep.
Yeah, but again, I think for those first 45 minutes, I think that's more important than the second for us. It shows how we could play with this team. It shows certain people how they can be unlocked. And again, now I don't think Jose wants anyone injured. Caleb Brannon. This reminds me of the Moyes summer transfer window.
Yeah, it is quite similar.
Well, if we only sign Mandzukic, then we'll have a very similar situation to just signing Fellaini that window.
Meek E. Simic says, love seeing Pereira. Oh, no, I've read that one already. Sorry, apologies, everybody. Fred's not playing on the wing, David Tapgun. Don't believe my image on the right because that's wrong. That was what we thought at the start of the game. We're actually playing a 3-5-2 with Scott McTominay as a left-sided centre-back and Fred, Herrera and Pereira as a midfield three with Mata and Sanchez as a front two.
I like it. I really think that's a way to go for the season. I think with Lukaku and Sanchez up front, that could be great.
Yeah, we've just got to get Sanchez off that left-hand side because he doesn't want to be there anyway.
No, and again, if he doesn't play there, I'm curious who does. Like, is it Martial? Or is it not? And again, I always keep wondering, like, I know Mourinho and him do not have a good relationship, but it just seems like something is almost like the shoe hasn't dropped yet, but that's why I don't think he's leaving. I just have this weird feeling that there's something else there that we're not being told. But the board has got to have given Martial some level of, like, we're not selling you, but we believe you're part of the future type speech.
I think United in this second half looked like they've ran out of speed a little bit earlier this game. Ran out of petrol a little bit earlier. Real Madrid on the attack. This should be it. Oh, how did he miss? Yeah. Should have been 2-2. Cut back to the edge of the box. Is that Odegaard? Is he still there, Odegaard?
Yep. Yes, it is.
Would have been a very similar goal to the one Sanchez scored. Cut back from the left-hand side, and it's there for him on a plate to put it home. And God, I think I'd fancy scoring that. You often wonder how professional footballers miss a chance like that.
No.
Perfectly there for him and blast it over the bar. But United haven't done much in this second half so far, and this is where it becomes a problem that I do empathise with Jose, is that his options, if he's not going to play the kids because he doesn't want to, then he has no other options.
No, and he gets blamed for the board's inability to sign people. It's a joke. And I should rephrase that. He gets blamed for the board's inability to follow Mourinho's list and get him the players he wants. If you didn't believe that the list was going to be correct, then you shouldn't have Mourinho as the coach.
William Walters says you can see the fitness levels from the first half to the second half. You can.
Yeah. This is dire. I don't overreact. It's preseason. It's not something we want to see. But again, the first half was good.
I tell you what, though, I don't know about you, but I cannot wait. Week on Friday. Leicester City, Premier League, get the season bloody started, because pre-season's normally, it's great that it starts and the season starts a bit earlier and you can start to build up your enthusiasm for it. But God, I just want the season to start so we can have some real football, because it's just not been a great pre-season.
No. And again, I just think it would be better if there was a signing coming in that we were looking forward to seeing. It was exciting to see Fred start. It was exciting to see him play. Great. I just think we're ready for the real season. I'm ready for... Yeah, I think Leicester's going to be a big game. Again, I think it's interesting, though. If anyone gambles and you've been following odds, they've been dropping drastically for Leicester. I think they started at 8-1 for them to win. They're down to 6-1. So the bookies think we're going to have a problem.
I'd be absolutely stunned if Manchester United were unable to beat Leicester City at home. And I know Jose has to be like, well, they've only had Vardy and Maguire out, but there are certain games that Manchester United should be winning, and that is 100% one of them.
Yeah. It's going to be, those first three games are pretty interesting, because again, once we get to Tottenham,
that's the tough one.
That's the tough one.
If we can catch Tottenham hot cold because it's early start of the season and we're at home, then that's what I hope.
I think that would be a good... Ooh. Nice move by Pereira. Very composed.
Camille says, Shaw doesn't show anything, he is bad. I mean, that's a good point, Jared. Luke Shaw, what's the situation with him? I mean, we spoke about how we both like Sandro. Doesn't look like it's likely now. But I just don't feel that Luke Shaw... I don't get what... I think Luke Shaw's words about a new contract were political, but I saw right through them when he said, I don't want to sign a new contract till I feel that I've earned it. And I think that what that transpires to be is, I'm not signing a new contract unless I'm a first teamer. And
I also think he saw what happened with Fellaini. Why would he sign a contract? They've let him go down this far. And again, the one thing I've always knocked Shaw, but he has stayed fit for multiple games in a row. So
he's always going to do though. And I don't think this is going to be enough for Luke Shaw. He is just going to sit on the bench. That is basically what's going to happen with Luke Shaw. He's going to sit on the bench. He might play every now and again because of fatigue and things like that, but Ashley Young will be first choice without question of a doubt. And that was always the problem for me, because I don't think you can get close to winning a title with Ashley Young as a left back.
But if we played a 3-5-2 and you have Lindelof, Bay, and Maguire at the back, and then you have Ashley Young on the left wing, he could play there. And he wouldn't be as detrimental to the defense as he would be as a left back. So I think he could be a good left wing back. I just don't know about a left back. Yeah.
Well, we've got over 5,000 people watching, which is fantastic for a pre-season game. So make sure that you are subscribing. Bottom right-hand corner. We're getting close to 251,000 subscribers, which is great.
Yeah.
Remember, we do every World Cup. I'm stuck in That's Football now. We do every single Manchester United game as a watch-along, and we are live every day as well a couple of times. So make sure that you have your notifications on, because we're a live content channel. And get involved, yeah. Great to have you on board. We can't keep the ball, says Paul Robinson. Yeah, the legs have gone, and we've still got half an hour left of this game. A very similar second half to the Liverpool game, actually. We did quite well in the first half, but second half we're falling away. Will Dalot be a future left back as well as a right back, says Jake Green? I know he has played there, but realistically we shouldn't be playing right-footed players at left back unless they're Dennis Irwin, and nobody's Dennis Irwin, so
No, again, I don't think we should be makeshifting players into positions. We have the money to buy the right positions.
a good play there by Real Madrid to keep it in.
And he kept the ball.
Oh,
Terrible shot.
I think he needs to make some substitutions, because if players are this tired, it's when you're this tired you start picking up injuries. So I know he doesn't want to do it because he doesn't want to bring the kids on, but
he's going to have to.
Is, I think he probably wants to win, doesn't he? Because it's something positive to take away from the tour, but there's some of these players that have played ridiculous amounts of football.
Yeah, I mean, this World...
you shouldn't be coming out of pre-season fatigue.
No, and this World Cup is taking its toll on certain people too.
Good play by Sanchez.
Sanchez gets hit more than anyone else. Gets beaten a lot.
Ryan Mark Williams says Dalot will be a starter. He could surprise us, but I wouldn't expect him to be honest. United like Manchester, says is Mourinho parking the bus. I think we have done second half. I think it's because of tiredness, to be honest.
Yeah. Where's this? Where is this?
Good play there with McTominay and Pereira.
Yeah, I mean, again, I can't say it enough how unbelievably exciting it is finally seeing Pereira play for us. Yeah, but I think we may be playing this formation more. I really do. I think the team lends itself to a 3-5-2.
It's a shame then, because we kept the ball for about a minute and it, allowed us to just get a bit of a platform in the game, and then one slipped off pass and we're back on the defence. Go on, Luke.
Nice play.
Well, there's 1-2 there.
Yeah, well, 1.5. Sanchez looks good. Sanchez finally looking better. Like to see Gomez get some game time. Yeah, I'd like to see Gomez, Chong. Of course we would. I think the scary thing for Jose would be what if one of these people scores some wonder goals and then all we talk about is them. So I could understand why he doesn't want to play him.
Hannibal Wolf says Fred is like Pogba and remember to like and sub. There's a big size difference. Fred has been decent, says KA. He loses the ball too much, says Femi Fax.
It's his first game. Give him a break.
Yeah, he's not match fit.
No, and he's
not
coming
sharp.
back too.
He didn't play in the World Cup, did he?
No. He had a 7-week injury or something.
To be fair, he'll be blown out his arse now, 70 minutes.
Yeah. And again, we just want to come out of here, no injuries. A win would be great. They played well. I mean, they've really played. The second half has been a lot less interesting than the first, but the goals that they scored in the first were really nice. So I'm happy with that. I'm not too happy with, again, you can look at just the game in the context of just the game, and this has been a good one. Forgetting the window or anything else.
think we might be making a sub now. It's a water break, isn't it?
These water breaks are pretty nuts. Mark, why is Darmian still at the club? I don't know.
Well, he's Fred coming off now.
Yeah. All right. Great match.
Twan CB coming on.
It's an interesting one.
Well, he'll need to play. So he's played 70 minutes tonight, about 20 minutes against Liverpool. So he'd be looking at another 70 minutes against Leicester. Sorry, not Leicester. Bayern. And then hopefully starting against Leicester. But I wouldn't go counting any chickens about that. I remember this last year thinking we were going to start the season with Matic, Herrera and Pogba. That didn't happen till April because we started the season with Fellaini. So
isn't that exciting?
Musicians of Fortune says Jose knows it's 2:30 in the morning back in the UK, so he's helping everyone fall asleep.
See, he's nice. But another interesting comment: who do you think our number 10 is going to be?
United seem to have this weird tactic lately, though, of more than happily leaving over iconic shirts vacant. So I can't see who would be a good fit for the number 10 in the squad at the moment.
I don't know. I mean, Pogba wouldn't want it, I don't think. I think he likes that 6. It's interesting. God forbid we give it to Fellaini.
God, yeah. He might do.
You never know.
Not put anything past Jose Mourinho when it comes to Marouane Fellaini.
No. The only number situation I've really seen that's been a huge issue was the Martial thing where he stripped him with a 9. And I don't think that was the best idea. I don't.
Farhan says commentate. Well,
what can you comment?
Real Madrid have got the ball and are passing it around all the time.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
what's happening.
There's about 20 side-to-side passes, but now actually Mata's got the ball. Side-to-side pass. Shaw's taking it up. That's a nice pass. Shaw gonna cross.
No one in the middle.
And
we've got no one going forward because that's the problem about a 3-5-2. If you're tired, it suddenly becomes a 5-4-1, and it becomes quite lethargic, and that's what we've become. We're just not committing men forward because we're tired. So Twan Seaby's actually gone into the back now, and McTominay's stepped forward into the midfield. John Kai says our number 10 will be Pogba. Rashford for 10, says Travis.
I don't hate that. I'm okay with Lingard gets it too, honestly. Not like I'm psyched about it, but I don't know. Lingard's been improved. Not amazing, but from where he came to where he is now, if he keeps growing, he could be something.
Have a Word says we're getting bossed by Real Madrid kids.
All right, but, 2 peas in a pod, right? Fred is the oil we need in the midfield. I like that comment. Give Lukaku number 10 and Rashford number 9. That's not happening. Lukaku's not losing that number.
Yeah, number 10's not. I was thinking that it's not an attractive number to a number 9, is it? Number 9's the one.
No. Right, and I mean, look, Lukaku has been immense. Touch of a brick, but still. He's got his moments. And he's young. Everyone hired the Mourinho. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just they've played a lot.
Well, this is like a training game, isn't it? This is just defence v attack at the moment.
Mm-hmm. You could almost see if Mourinho was in the dressing room being like, I want to see how you guys shut up shop.
Yeah, yeah. Turn me on. I want to see how you do it.
Right, exactly. Park that
You've
bus.
played your way for 45 minutes. Now it's time for my satisfaction. Park that bus. Show me how you can stop them scoring.
Oh. Oh. Is there any youth player besides Pereira you could see coming up this year? I am Pereira's not youth, but at least he came from it.
I don't think so. I really don't think that. I did say this when the tour started as well, that I know everyone was very excited about people like Greenwood and Chong and Gomez coming, but he's not used them at all. To be honest, he's not. It's good for them to be part of it, but he hasn't used them anywhere. He's not used them anywhere near enough that would make you think that he's going to use them in the first team. So
yeah,
Luke Shaw's just giving a free kick. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Sorry, I got a call.
Free kick there. To Real Madrid on the edge of the box, late tackled by Luke Shaw. It was a bit reckless, to be fair.
I do think, by the way, I think Fosu Mensah could come through, but I think it would be injury-based that he comes through. I don't think he could do anything to improve his standing. You know, like I think if there's an injury, he could end up playing, but it's not a Jose Mourinho choice that he plays.
I think that Fosu Mensah needs to play regular football, doesn't he? And
yeah,
he is not going to be a first teamer at Manchester United next season, and he's going to have to go on loan. There's been talk of Valencia, which was a good loan for Pereira, obviously. So maybe that is something he can do. I like Fosu Mensah. I think where it went wrong for him last season was that he was doing really well at Crystal Palace, and then they decided to go with I think it was someone from their own youth product in the last few months of the season, and that sort of set Fosu Mensah back.
And he was having a good season too, so it was kind of weird that they just took him out. But you know,
I would like him to end up being a United player, but it's difficult to see that at the moment. He's quite a way off.
Yeah, I mean, Gomez would be nice to see. I wish they would just play youth in like the League Cup and only youth. And that's it. Just give them time in that cup and see how far they go. And if they get knocked out, they get knocked out. But I don't get it sometimes where like we don't test the youth the right way. We don't give them opportunities under Jose, and I think they get held back. And it's tough to grow the academy when that happens. Dude, do we get Fellaini's contract canceled on VAR? Manchester Scholes. I would rather Timbo stay in the Premier rather than abroad. Pereira became a bit part player with Valencia's second half of the season. The first part I agree with, but would he start at the team he goes to is kind of the question. And with the second part, I don't know, but Pereira seems to have come back a different player. So I'm happy.
I think Jose's a fan of people going to play in the Liga as well. He obviously sees it as you've got Eric Bailly from there, so he obviously sees it as a good league that's, a league that is transferable to the Premier League.
Yeah, I think I think certain players belong in that league for a bit. See if that's where they want to be, or if they can come and cut it here. It's much more physical here, obviously. So, and there we go. Bailly's coming off.
Did I read that right? Francis Ward says, what do you think of Seamus Coleman to replace Valencia? I think Seamus Coleman's about the same age, isn't he? There's not a lot of difference. So I wouldn't think he would be the right sort of person for that. Send Martial to Bayern on loan, like Madrid did with James, says Happy. Yeah, but the thing is, we're not in a position to be able to send a player of Martial's quality off to Bayern Munich on loan without getting something back ourselves. Damani White says, make some bloody subs, Jose. It has been, look, that's what this US tour's been about. He hasn't wanted to do what everyone else on the tour does, which is what Real Madrid are doing now, which is playing their kids. He doesn't want to do it. I don't know why. Maybe he's protecting them. Maybe doesn't feel they're good enough. But what he has done instead is absolutely exhaust the players that he has got. And that is a little bit weird.
It's a little worrying. You're taking the fitness level. I mean, they're obviously match fit now, so that could be bad.
Yeah, that looks bad for McTominay, the way he landed.
Well,
oh, he's all right.
Yeah. You never know with that, like, with an ACL thing. It's glad that he looks good. What is that? Mitchell? It's so exciting. The youth always come on and they're absolutely gung-ho to play, which is nice to see. Valencia should play a replacement. Should be a young player. Yeah, but I mean, Deluxe could replace him in the long-term future. I don't know. I mean, the other question is, right, like, if we do sign Alderweireld, is that enough? Or, like, at that point, where do you see the improvement needed? I mean, you need a right winger, but would you rather sign no one or would you rather sign Willian?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point.
Right, like, I guess the question is, like, and I always hear it from others, it's like, it's not our money. So if they overpay for a guy who's 30, who cares?
Well, Real Madrid are in for him now, apparently, as well.
And I don't believe that. Right, like, Barcelona wasn't bidding 70 million for him, and Madrid aren't in for 70 million for him. I just think Madrid are working on Hazard, and that's it. And Courtois. I think both are potential. But I think Chelsea's trying to line up a replacement before they sell him. So, they're making a deal. They're like, we're trying to make United pay more for Willian. Just tell them you're in for him.
Remember, if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, get involved with the United Stand, YouTube's biggest Manchester United fan community. So get involved. We're live at least a couple of times a day. Always got the live comments on, always interacting, and saying it how it is. That's the main thing. We say it how it is on here. We don't play it safe. So, if praise is there to be given, we'll give it. But if criticism's there to be given, we'll give it, because that's what football's about, isn't it? At the moment, everything's not rosy in the garden at Manchester United, and it hasn't been for about 6 years. But very interesting season ahead. I think that man's been my man of the match today, under Herrera. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, beautiful play. Nice pass, nice ball control. I mean, Sanchez has no one to go to, so you can't really fault him for that. But nice playing by Pereira. By Herrera. And they're attacking the ball, which is nice.
Yeah, we've been very isolated, haven't we, with Sanchez in this second half. Not a lot going on. What's NE14ABJ then?
I have no idea.
Apparently Manchester United have just tweeted it.
What they tweet?
No, they haven't.
Yeah. Hi, Kevin Young. There's your shout out.
I love how the official Manchester United Twitter account actually does retweet some fans' opinions, but then on the other hand, I think it's a bit hypocritical, because they're only ever going to retweet something that's positive, aren't they?
Yeah. I'm always interested more in the comments under them, and they have not been great. Like, some of the tweets are just comical. Like, on Instagram, they just get torn apart. After the Liverpool game, they were like, and a beautiful goal by Pereira, which it was. But, like, they forgot to talk about the fact that the game was 4-1. So, you can always look at what the fans are saying. I mean, there's 50% who say don't be negative, and there's 50% who are being realistic, I say.
Well, we will be flying home from the American tour straight after this game, I think, Manchester United, and then
I'm
we're
sure
off
they
the
can't
tour,
wait.
and the voodoo of the tour and not signing players will be over, because we never seem to sign players when we're on tour. So we will see, with 8 days left of the transfer window, whether we're going to do any business. And I think things will pick up. I mean, the weekend isn't normally a time for transfers to be done, but I don't think United can afford not to be using this weekend, to be honest, because 5 o'clock on Thursday, the transfer window shuts. A week on Thursday.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they got to do something big. And again, you have to assume they're waiting on one or two specific people. So it's all going to go off.
I think a lot of people have said it. I think in relation to Toby Alderweireld, that deal, if it's going to happen, will be the last day, the last hour, because you're dealing with Spurs, and you'll have to overpay. I
think they're waiting for Martial. I really think they're waiting for Martial. I think they want him in any swap deal.
I wouldn't do that, Martial for Alderweireld. It's all kinds of wrong. It's probably what Mourinho would do, but it symbolises something more, doesn't it? It's giving an attacker up for a defender, which is not what United should be doing.
No, and a 30-year-old defender. I'll defend decisions like to sign a Perisic when Mourinho wanted him, because that's who he felt could improve us. I don't care what he thinks when it comes to giving a direct rival the fan's favorite player. No way.
Let us know in the live comments what you think about that. Good point. I would not be happy about that at all. Alderweireld for Martial, even if it involved a bit of money.
I don't care. Yeah, exactly. They could give us 50 million and Alderweireld, and I still wouldn't do it, just because that's the perfect team for a player like Martial to develop into the player he will be. No way we're going to make that easy for them. Yeah. Bailly is tired. Yeah. Well, I thought they subbed Bailly off. Funny enough.
I think there's a lot of viewers tired, to be honest.
Yeah. It's exhausting.
Now you know how people around the world feel when we've got the UK games and they're getting up. I don't know how they did it watching. I don't know how they do it under Jose, to be fair, but I don't know how they did it with
Van Gaal.
With Van Gaal's rubbish football.
Well, it's crazy. It's like, Southwick gets up at 4 a.m. in the morning for United games. Like, we get 7 a.m., which isn't as bad as like the West Coast of America, which it hits 4 a.m. if you're in like California. That's crazy. You drink the whole night and then watch the game. And then watching the game, you need to drink more.
So we've got about 5 minutes left in this game.
Yeah, it's been fun. First half more fun than the second.
Still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
No, you just broke a bit, that's all.
Here you go. Nathan made an interesting comment. We have no chance to win the league. Top 3 or 4 will be a success in terms of how our squad is looking currently. I don't even think if Alderweireld signs, it will be enough. What do you think?
I think we were talking about it in the first half, weren't we? I'm comfortable that Manchester United will finish in the top 4. I don't think we've done enough to get in this transfer window. We needed to be, and we spoke about this at the end of last season, Manchester United needed to be aggressive and ruthless to challenge City this season. And we certainly haven't been in the transfer window. There's still 8 days left. Anything can happen. But
Right.
we've not been aggressive enough in the transfer window. But I don't, for all Liverpool's pontificating and Chelsea and Spurs, one thing I would say about Mourinho is he knows a Premier League season and he knows where to get the points. And we won't be, for 1 minute, I cannot accept that we will not be in the top 4. I think we will be in the top 4. Whether that's enough, I don't think so. I think after 3 years, you've got to deliver a title at Manchester United.
Of course.
I don't know what you think, Jared. I just cannot see us finishing outside the top 4.
I think the question really is if we're fighting for the 4th place, does Mourinho even make it till the end of the season to get there?
See, I think the board will. I think we've sort of seen that with already with Moyes, and the same with Van Gaal. Is if you don't get top 4, you're going to get sacked. But if you get top 4,
you're
back
okay.
to the whole business and football thing, doesn't it? It's that's probably enough. It's not enough for the fans, but I think it's enough for the owners. And I think unless top 4 is in danger, Mourinho's fine.
I think there's also if I don't think he signed after this year, right? I think it's an option.
Yeah.
But like with Van Gaal, they fired him the day they found out they weren't making top 4. You know, they fired him after the FA Cup, but that was the day that they determined they don't have to pay him. There was like a salary number that they don't have to pay because he doesn't make top 4. It's in the contract somewhere. But again, I just think the atmosphere is toxic. And this is where you said, like, Mourinho's created this. So he will have to live with it. If the results aren't good enough, the fans will turn. And they will turn quickly. And the fans who defend Mourinho every day, there will be less and less of them. For example, if we lose to Leicester or we draw Leicester, it's going to get...
Gosh, yeah, you know what's going to happen, don't you? It's going to be absolute. Right. That's what I mean. I think we're just one bad result, not even a loss. I just think we're one bad result away from it all going wrong. You know, it could even be the second game of the season away to Brighton and we draw. And I think, you know, maybe that's not a terrible result, but people will be like, you know, last season, first 2 seasons, he won all his games. We were already dropping points.
Right, and you remember last season when everything was going rosy until Liverpool, we drew the game, and then everyone turned on Mourinho. Like, the way that we played the game people didn't like. You know, you look back, we were the only top 6 side to bring points out of Anfield, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, on Mourinho, to your point, he understands how to gain points and get the position he needs in a Premier League season. But what has he built up in the fans to allow some bad results? And I don't know he's built up enough. So, you know, like, if it gets bad, I mean, I could see like people really protesting. So I'm hoping that Mourinho has something up his sleeve to prevent all of this. And just that siege mentality could work. Gomez not getting, Angel Gomez not getting any sort of recognition. Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate, but
no Chong either. You know, he's not used Chong in the second half either.
I think, look, you can look at this tour one of 2 ways. You can say, we didn't see enough of Chong, and he's not going to play in the year. Or you can come out of this tour saying, look how good Pereira's been. It's exciting that he's going to play first-team football for United this year.
Definitely. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, but it was everyone's been a pleasure joining everyone. Everyone stayed with us for the game. For the ones who woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning, credit to you.
Well, I'm going to do my match reaction straight after this, so I must say we're nearly at full time, so thanks very much to Jared for coming on, as well as everybody else who's been watching. We hit 250,000 subscribers tonight as well, which is fantastic, so if you haven't subscribed, please do in the bottom right hand corner. But really appreciate you coming on, Jared.
It was an absolute pleasure. First half was even better than the second.
Yeah, second half's been a little bit difficult, hasn't it? But looks like they've got a corner here. So very much United first half. Well, I'll talk about it in the match reaction, but it's been very, very defensive this second half. I can't think of us having a shot on goal second half.
No. But again, they didn't score yet, so Mourinho will be happy.
Yeah, we don't want penalties either, do we?
No, not 15 penalties again.
good catch by De Gea. Now just bounce it around and don't do anything about it. I've put the match reaction link in the top line of the video description for everybody. So straight after this video, I'll just literally end it and start it up on there. So you can join me for that. But yeah, got about 55 seconds left. Just keep us away from the goal. We do not want a penalty shootout.
No, we just want to end the game, be the winners.
Come on, ref. That was a foul on Pereira.
Stop it up.
They're going to score now, Real Madrid. You can see it coming a mile off. Oh, no, he's not giving that foul fair. Fair play, ref. Sanchez has got it in our half. Took a tumble.
Sanchez is
not
good.
Giving the foul either. That was Sanchez should have stayed on his feet there because the referee clearly doesn't want to give any free kicks in these last few minutes. No. It was sloppy.
No, the fans are like, we want to see penalties, so they're trying to influence the game. But that's okay. Should be it.
They're not going to get him because I think that's it now.
Excellent. To end it, Safe Malo. Dear Liverpool, this is how you beat Madrid.
So he's ended it. Anyway, thanks for coming on, Jared. Really appreciate that. I'm going to get the match reaction so I can have a little bit of sleep myself. But cheers for coming on, pal.
Pleasure, Mark. Thank you very much.
Thank you. What was your Twitter again?
Oh, it's JPASERMAN. Bring it to 100 people now.
You see, you need an easier Twitter name, that's why.
I know. I got to work on it. But Jay Passerman, it's been fun. See you, Mark.
Cheers, pal. Speak to you soon.
See you, buddy.
And thanks, everybody, for watching on the live stream of the match. I'm literally going to go straight over to my match reaction now, so you can go through the link in the video description, which is the top line, or you can go through the homepage. I'm literally just going to end and start and do it. So I'll also be talking about the US tour in general as well. So I'll see you in a moment. Thanks for watching.